Welcome into Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois, the host venue for tonight's USL 2 Final between Peoria City and Seacoast United. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Cody Roskins. Alongside me, Griffin Leonard. Griffin, fantastic matchup in a fantastic venue. It doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, the playoff hunt's been going on 3 weeks for these two clubs, but the journey's gone this whole season, and they've made it to the championship, made it to the pinnacle, and now a chance for complete glory here at the biggest stage of the USL 2 here in the final here in Peoria.
A lot on the line tonight. A national championship for the first time for either of these two clubs, as well as a berth in the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah, one of the most prestigious tournaments in American soccer, a historical tournament going back decades, and a chance for both of these two teams, semi-professional clubs, to get a chance to go up against the big guns. That, coupled alongside a trophy, not a bad gig if you ask me.
Absolutely not. Again, we're here at Shea Stadium, a stadium that typically serves the host venue for Bradley men's soccer games, but it's also got a unique history and past ties to the community. It's previously served as a minor league baseball field, and our good friend Jonathan Michael has more on that.
Shea Stadium is a unique soccer venue hailed by some as one of the best in the Midwest. It hasn't always been a soccer stadium, though. Built over 50 years ago, it's hosted a number of tenants, which currently include Bradley University's soccer team and Peoria City. And tonight, it's all home to the USL League Two National Championship. Originally named Mine Field right after its construction in 1968, this field was home to a variety of Peoria minor league baseball teams. The franchise that is now known as the Peoria Chiefs was owned by Pete Vanaken in the 1980s before it was sold to a group of Chicago area investors. Then in the early 1990s, it was sold back to a group of Peoria individuals, and it received a multi-million-dollar facelift in 1992. Baseball eventually found its way back to Mine Field in the form of minor league baseball and the Bradley University baseball team. But as people's leisure activities began to bring them closer to the Illinois River downtown, the Chiefs began thinking of making their own stadium down there as well. At the same time, Bradley University's soccer team faced a stadium conundrum of their own. A team that was rapidly gaining traction was playing at a stadium nearby with no lights and limited seating capacity. Bradley acquired the land in 2002 with the vision of turning the baseball stadium into a soccer stadium. But not just any soccer stadium, one that would be one of the crown jewels in the Midwest. Even though significant work needed to be done to the field, they still kept some features that are still in use today here at Shea Stadium, including the press box, the bleachers along the first base side, and the clubhouse here behind me, where baseball stars such as Mark Grace, Greg Maddux, and Albert Pujols once roamed. While there were some building blocks in place, significant work still needed to be done. Ongoing construction on I-74, just a stone's throw away from the stadium, caused the lot that the stadium now occupies to essentially be a big pile of dirt. The solution? Dig out 2 feet of dirt, and they layered it with sand, gravel, and topsoil, and just like that, Shea Stadium had a playing surface. Years later, they laid down a Midwestern strain of Bermuda grass, which since has been meticulously maintained since the day it was planted. Shea Stadium has seen no shortage of big games since its rebirth as a soccer stadium, including U.S. Open Cup qualifiers, college postseason tournaments, and tonight's USL League Two National Championship. Plenty of success stories have been authored on this very turf. Who will write their own tonight, and who will come up just short? Stay tuned to find out from Shea Stadium in Peoria, Illinois.
Thank you, John, for that unique insight into this stadium. Griffin, you and I were talking before we went on the air today. We're expecting a great crowd, great atmosphere. The tailgating scene is far and underway, and it's just a beautiful night to decide a champion.
Yeah, I got a chance to walk out there pregame and just walk, see the food trucks, see the people. Just outside of the stadium, it's a grass field with kind of a running track looking oval of pavement, and you can't hardly see any grass out there, Cody. It's end to end, filled with vehicles. The community as a whole has come out to support what should be a great night of soccer.
It's a great point, Griffin. The parking lot is packed. There's no more room here in Shea. They've moved across the street, filled up that parking lot. Now they've begun parking along Nebraska Avenue just off to our left-hand side. But again, beautiful atmosphere, and touching in some of the things that John had said, this place once served as a minor league baseball stadium for local Peoria minor league team, and now it serves as a home for Bradley University soccer, and that switch has really converted the change in the community. They've taken hold to it, and that's how you get a national championship in your backyard.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because you think of this area of being a little bit more of a baseball than maybe a soccer community, and and obviously the Chiefs used to play here. Now Bradley baseball and the Chiefs share a stadium downtown, but the history certainly still feels like it's here at Shea Stadium here, and as you mentioned, it's an opportunity for the community to kind of morph just as the stadium did as well.
Absolutely. Again, it's Peoria City and Seacoast United getting ready to decide a national champion in this USL 2 Final. Griffin, we can't wait to get underway. We're going to go ahead and throw it aside as Jonathan Michael has more for the head coach with Seacoast United, Alex Ryan.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Alex Ryan, the head coach of Seacoast United, making the trip all the way from Epping, New Hampshire. Coach, thanks for being with us. A long trip, I know, for you guys. You guys have been on the road quite a bit lately, but you've obviously pulled out the results that you've needed to.
Yeah, no, first of all, thanks for having me. A lot of road trips, a lot of time away, but at the same token, it's a lot of bonding for the guys as well. So it's a tight group. It's obviously added to that togetherness as well. But yeah, a lot of time away, and we're excited for tomorrow.
Certainly, and Coach, I know you guys have obviously had a great season. We'll start kind of in the regular season, maybe the preseason even. What were kind of the expectations for you, for the team coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of returners, a lot of local talent, and obviously, as you see, there's players from some elsewhere, like big universities we've got in for the summer. The goal at the start of the year was to win a third straight Northeast Division title. That was the ultimate goal. However, I operate small steps and one game at a time, and we never looked at the bigger picture. So for me, it was trying to claim that third Northeast Division title, and it's a really tough conference, and I'm proud to say we've done it. And then from there on, we've just kept going, and luckily we've got a final to play for.
Certainly, and just tell me about the playoffs again. I know you guys have had some good wins. You had some big wins, some close wins. Yeah. Just what have you seen out of your team the most throughout this playoff run?
No, I mean, if you look at the 2 weekends, obviously the Ocean City game was really tight. I think we scored in the 70th minute. Didn't really play great. I thought they were a good side, made it difficult, kind of, cancel each other out a little bit. And then against Vermont, I thought we were really good. I thought we played really, really well. A bit similar to Lionsbridge as well. I thought the first game we played really well. Second game, we were tired physically and also mentally a little bit. But for me, we've had four playoff games. We've kept three clean sheets. So that shows a lot about this group.
Coach, I know you're going into your fourth year, if I'm not mistaken. I know you've had lots of big games. Just tell me a bit about your background in soccer, where it all started for you.
So it's a good question. It's actually been a bit of a 360. So I first came out to America to play in college. My first connection with Seacoast United was playing in the USL 2 back in the day. It was the PDL, and that was my first sort of relationship with Seacoast. And graduated, went back home for a little bit, potted around trying to play, and then obviously kind of worked my way up the ladder at Seacoast and was involved with the NPSL as a head coach, and then transitioned into the USL 2 as assistant coach, and then obviously took the reins as the head coach here for the last 4 years. So yeah.
Certainly, and one last question for you, Coach. What's the biggest key for this team? What has this team got to do if they want to be the one hosting that trophy on Saturday night?
Well, we've got to play well, right? It's a final. Anything can happen. I think managing the game is important. Obviously, we're expecting a good crowd, which we're excited for. And it's a final, and Peoria City here for a reason as well. So I think for us, we've got to operate well in both boxes, take our chances when those moments arise, and obviously defend well as well. So it's going to be a tight game. That's what we're expecting. And especially when you're coming down to playoff soccer and when you're in a national final, the margins are really, really thin. So we're ready, and we're hoping to lift that final after 90 minutes.
Alex Ryan, the head coach for Seacoast United, looking to win a USL League Two national championship here tonight. Coach, thanks for stopping on by. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you for that, John, and thank you to head coach Alex Ryan of Seacoast United. Gave some great insight into, the local kind of impact that this has had on his club. He told me over the phone earlier this week when he took this team over and program over that the local presence was going to be a staple for him. And if it wasn't going to have that, he really didn't want to be a part of it, more or less. And it's turned out very well for them, Griffin.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, it's Epping, New Hampshire. It's such a small town, 7,000 people. But they've really transformed this club that's obviously moved around the New Hampshire area. But Alex Ryan in his 4 seasons, there's just that level of consistency and there's that level of community. And this has been the best season for not just results-wise, but for the community and for the club as a whole, at least in Ryan's tenure. And it's awesome to see a group from a place that probably not many people would have heard of to make an impact like this.
And that's kind of been the theme of this final, is that we were joking about how much just local talent there is between the two teams. They're very locally based, whether it's kids for Peoria City that attend Bradley or the surrounding towns. Like Wes Gibson's a perfect example. Went to Morton, attended SIUE down south in the state, but has come back home to play his ball. Fritz Volmar is a big part of Peoria City this year, but the same can be said for Seacoast United. They've got a number of Boston College, New Hampshire, Southern New Hampshire kids all tightly packed into that roster. It's very cool that the local presence has more or less brought them through the playoffs to the final.
It's just such a great example of the sport of soccer growing in the United States as a whole, because it's no longer just hubs of talent in Southern California and Arizona and Texas. You're seeing local kids in rural areas really find the sport at a young age, grow into incredible athletes, and we're seeing the talent that we're being showcased today.
Certainly is a cool aspect. We're going to step aside, though, for a short break. We'll be right back with more from Shea Stadium.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Back at Shea Stadium, I'm Cody Austin, Griffin Leonard here. Griffin, beautiful night here at Shea Stadium. We've kept touching on the atmosphere, but we're just talking to each other off the air. We're expecting a fairly good crowd tonight. Roughly 3,000, 2,500 fans will pack Shea Stadium tonight.
Yeah, looking at the seats, it's a really, really good crowd. The 309 getting active right next to the goal on the north side of the stadium, and the whole crowd really filling in. This should be a really good atmosphere tonight.
Saw a few glimpses of some scenes here around Peoria, but nobody quite gets the supporter section going for the 309, quite like a certain man in black tonight. Number 11, Luke Persenico, does a great job of that.
Well, and he's certainly been the hottest attacker on this team. Just absolutely phenomenal in the goal-scoring department, and I know he was excited about this matchup.
Absolutely. With more on Luke Persenico, our Jonathan Michael sat down with him before game today.
I'm sitting here with Luke Persenico, the star of Peoria City this season. Luke, what a fantastic season it's been for you and the club. Leading goal scorer in the league, 18, I believe. Is that correct coming into this game?
I think it might be 16, but thank you very much. And
we'll double check on that. But Luke, I got to ask, when you started the season, did you envision being in this position that you as a team are in right now?
I don't know. I think we always believed in ourselves, but to actually be here and be in this moment, I think it's a lot, and it hasn't really set in, I guess I could say.
What does this game mean just for you as a team and also for you yourself as well?
I think it means everything. I think we got a lot of guys that haven't really won too much or accomplished too much, and for us to be in this position, we're also grateful and just ready to prove ourselves.
You said you guys haven't won or accomplished too much, and we were talking, you yourself are kind of that underdog story. Tell me just a bit about, again, coming from Clark, the NAIA school, and being able to perform on a stage like this.
It's awesome. I mean, I just couldn't believe I was able to accomplish so much, and to have the guys around me being so supportive and putting me into the position I am, I just have to thank them and the club as well.
And people always say, the best talk is with your actions. And people have said you guys have been a young team. They've even said that this is a David and Goliath match, a team that's very young against a team that's very experienced. What do you have to say about that?
I think people always have been doubting us, but we just continue to show what we're made of, and that they should never doubt us. We always show what we have and why we're in this position.
And Luke, I know it's been probably a longer season than many of you guys have anticipated. What's been your favorite part of this season?
Just being in the locker room with the guys and just enjoying every single win. Every single time we win, we come to this locker room, celebrate together. No one has an ego or thinks they're better than everyone else. It's just enjoying the moment, knowing your role, and doing your job.
Tell me about, as a team, again, you guys all play for many different colleges, a lot of players from Clark, obviously, but, getting able to meet some of these guys, what's the bond like with them? I know you guys have, I think, been living together. Tell me about just what it's like being able to come with a bunch of guys that maybe you didn't even know at the start of the summer.
Yeah, I can tell you I didn't know more than 5 guys on this team coming here, and it's been an honor playing with all of them. Like, they're such great guys. I mean, people like DJ have become one of my best friends here, and it's just awesome to enjoy the moment.
And I know you've been such a star of this team. Obviously, again, you are not the only one. Players like Charlie Dickerson have had a fantastic impact on the team this year. What can you say about him and anyone else on this team that has helped you get to this point?
I think guys like Charlie, Wes, all of them don't get the recognition they deserve. They all put in their shift. I mean, Sammy, Slimmy, obviously. They're great players. I think some people get too caught up in the stats or the goals when the players behind the goal are really creating what happens. So it's just a big recognition to everyone on the team because they all do their part.
Certainly. And, what's just kind of in when you hit that field on Saturday, what's in your mental to-do list?
I mean, I can't hide my excitement for the game. I'm just ready to go and do the same thing as always. Like I said, our team's so good that when we play our game and we do our thing, we know we can win against whoever.
Again, I want to thank Luke Persenico from Peoria City. What a fantastic player, a fantastic story. Guys, back to you in the booth.
And welcome back to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois. We're joined by the Senior Vice President of Youth and Pre-Professional Development, as well as the USL2, Joel Nash. Joel, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, guys.
Griffin, I know we were talking on and off the air about what kind of an atmosphere we're going to have, and obviously we started chatting before we went live here, but it's going to be a great atmosphere, possibly 3,000 plus. You got to spend some time with the 309. What was that like?
It's ultimately what we love to see embodied in a club. A club is part of the fabric of the community, and if you don't have the 309, then really the players, the staff, all the people, you all as media, the town need those front runners of fans that are leading the charge. And it was organically built, and just getting to meet everybody and seeing the passion, the gratefulness of being able to host this game. We're grateful that we could bring it here. It really just, it embodies what Path to Pro is and League Two is and what we're trying to build from a culture standpoint.
Absolutely, and speaking on it, I went back and watched the Ballard FC title game last year, and it was kind of an interesting parallel to this game. You have a very young club against a very seasoned club. What's that kind of mean to the growth and development of the league, that you're able to have these young franchises come in and make an impact?
Yeah, I think it's a testament, if we start broadly, it's a testament to where the sport's going. It doesn't matter what community you're in. The passion for this sport is here, and we're grateful that League Two can go out and forge new paths into new communities, and to have the immediate success or the young success from the community of Peoria coming around this club is really, it's just something that, yes, we're strategic about and we want to see happen. We want to find the right people who can build clubs for that. But in the end, you're relying upon communities to do it. To see this number of young clubs building the type of support, like you mentioned, from last year, now this year, it's just incredible.
Yeah, well, and in USL League Two, there's so many markets. You have huge markets like San Francisco, Denver, and then you have the middle of New Hampshire. Managing all these markets, how have you seen the game grow recently, and how beneficial is that for the game of soccer, not just in America, but across the scope of things globally?
Wow. Well, and I think when we look globally, especially whether it be Welcome to Wrexham's and all these historic clubs that are maybe smaller clubs coming to life, that's what we're able to see here. And it's not, it is organic. I know I've mentioned that a little bit. We have a lot of clubs, but I think actually from a League Two standpoint, it is markets like Peoria or the small suburb of Seattle, which is Ballard, or others that are ripe for where this sport is going to go, because we're a massive country. A lot of times in the industry, we'll talk about our biggest strength is our size, but at times our biggest challenge is the size of the U.S. And we're only going to build something special for decades to come when we're coming in and being able to bring a product and have Peoria itself represent that product. And to be able to continue to do that, we're not stopping. We'll go with that.
Kind of continuing on that note, we touched on the atmosphere, that kind of stuff. You have some personal experience that we were talking about just before we went on here. A former Purple Ace, you've played in this stadium on big stages. What was it like coming back?
It was surreal, for sure. It's been, a decade plus since I've been here, and obviously as a player, it's a different experience. Unfortunately, we didn't always come out on top. Most of the time, we didn't. So actually, for me personally, it's really no matter what tonight with this crowd, with what this community's done. We've been here. Our team has been here for a couple days. It's rewriting something in a really special manner, both personally, but I'm so connected personally to professionally. It's all just a wonderful time.
Kind of semi-unserious, but as Jim DeRose, he is now in his first year as president of Peoria City Soccer, but has he swapped any smart comments, anything like that about the 2013 game between you two?
Yeah, I think, the results did the talking that year, and that was enough. I think he's gracious enough, and he's got enough on his plate, enough excitement being president with Peoria City. But yeah, he definitely, we've kidded a little bit. We talked a bit about that game, that season. We came in thinking we lost that game in the final second. So, again, now we're all getting to relive something, today and tonight.
Last question for us before we got to go to another break, but you've been a great guest on coming on, and we thank you for doing it. What's kind of one thing, we've touched a ton on Peoria City. People who might not know Seacoast United as well, they're a premier club. They're very talented. They've got a ton of good players on their side. What can they kind of expect out of Seacoast tonight?
They're built from the ground up. They've got multiple players that I was catching up with Ian Scott, their director of football soccer at the club, and they've got multiple guys who he remembers when they were 4 years old. So what I love about tonight, and it is different than we've seen, where we've got young crowd from a Peoria standpoint, we've got a community behind a club, clearly a terrific team that Coach Mike has put together. But in Seacoast, you've got a 26 to 28-year-old club in USL League Two, and they've got young players who've represented the club from the earliest of ages. And that's a wonderful embodiment of what League Two is doing across the country, where you can have different models, but it's all representing an elite level of soccer.
For sure. Can't thank you enough for coming on again, Joel. We're going to step aside as I had time to catch up with Tig Healy, one of those ground-up members for Seacoast United. Welcome, fans. Pre-game show continues on here as I'm here with Tig Healy from Seacoast United. I'm Cody Roskins. Tig, thanks so much for joining me today. No small trip for you guys, no small journey to this point. We talked with your head coach earlier about you guys being on the road for nearly 3 weeks before this. Win or lose, the traveling will conclude. Are you looking forward to kind of having some peace and quiet one way or another?
Yeah, it's there's pros and cons to everything. I absolutely love the camaraderie around the team. The bus trips, hotel trips, it grows everyone closer together. We don't have much time with everyone in the summer, so it'll definitely be nice to rest a bit. Obviously, quick turnaround to college season, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed the road trips with the boys.
So obviously, we're sitting right at about 25 hours till kickoff. How are you feeling? Obviously, you're about to get in your last training session before the big game. What's kind of the mindset going in with you and the team?
We're feeling good. We played some serious teams throughout the playoffs, and we're feeling confident that we can beat anyone. And I think we know if we just apply our game the way we have been throughout playoffs and the regular season, that we'll be just fine.
You guys have spent a lot of time in front of big crowds this year, whether it's playing Vermont Greens, the Western Masses of the world, and then getting into the postseason with Ocean City, Lionsbridge, anybody, Asheville City. You guys have conquered them all. Now, there's one big check mark left, and there's going to be a couple thousand fans here tonight. How exciting is it for you to play one last match in front of a few thousand fans?
I think it's great for us. I think we thrive off games like that. All those games that you just mentioned, we've won so far. So I think we like to think of ourselves as a big game team. I think when there's that atmosphere, we're playing another good team, I think it makes our game raise another level, and it's done well for us so far, so looking forward to it.
We heard earlier today in a press conference from the head coaches that it's been 30 years of a USL 2 championship, and there hasn't been a single year that at least one player hasn't turned pro playing in the championship match. I don't know if you're aware of that. Have you guys ever thought about that? There's a real chance that many of you in that locker room, on either side, will probably be playing for a weekly wage at some point.
Yeah, well, that's obviously, I think, the goal of most of us, which is why, again, it helps us go so far because we all have ambitions. Alex, he knows that we come to take this serious to improve us for the fall, and his ambitions as a coach that he goes pro as well. And yeah, with the talent in our locker room, it really wouldn't surprise me. We have so many fantastic players from keeper to striker. So, yeah, I think that's most people's goals, and hopefully.
Last question for you is just, you mentioned being a local kid, how much it meant to you being able to, one, practice so close and be so close to the team. The last two teams standing out of 128 teams this year are two teams loaded with local talent. Peoria has a bunch of Bradley guys. Seacoast United brings a conglomerate of schools from around the East Coast. What's it mean to you, I guess, as that local kid to see a lot of either familiar faces or to have that common theme in the final?
Yeah, I played for Seacoast United since I was 5 years old. I've been in New Hampshire my whole life. It would honestly be a dream come true. When I first got a sniff with the Phantoms and I was 17 years old, I can only imagine this moment just being a big part of the team. And it's my boyhood club, so it would be an absolute dream come true. And I don't think much would be able to top it throughout the rest of my life. So I would really, really, really hoping to get the dub tomorrow.
It's been a common theme so far. A win tomorrow would mean big things for people involved. I want to thank you for joining me, Tig.
Thanks
and guys,
for having me.
We'll swing it back up to you in the booth.
And with that, we're back at Shea Stadium. I want to thank my past self, I guess, for taking on that interview with Tig Healy. Did a great job explaining, just his local ties to this community and to Seacoast United. Want to take another quick break. We're going to be back after a quick word from CSM Overtime.
Welcome, fans. Pre-game show continues on here as I'm here with Tig Healy from Seacoast United. I'm Cody Roskins. Tig, thanks so much for joining me today. No small trip for you guys. No small journey at this point. We talked with your head coach earlier about you guys being on this 3 weeks before
Central
this.
Illinois, we're going to
win or lose,
overtime. After 4 years of preps covered in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your team,
Your stories, your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action, more stories,
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
We heard earlier today in a press conference from the head coaches that it's been 30 years of the USL.
And with that, welcome back as the road ends here. Peoria City and Seacoast United collide in this USL 2 Final. One of these two clubs will win their first national championship and an automatic berth into the U.S. Open Cup. Welcome into the broadcast, everybody. I'm Cody Roskins. Alongside me, Griffin Leonard. Griffin, these two teams fought the long way to get here. It was never easy, but here they are.
Yep, and we're just about getting ready set for kickoff. These two teams, they look ready, they look energized, and the time's now, Cody.
Couldn't have said it better myself, setting the table for how these two teams got here. It's been a long road for Seacoast United. They took, metaphorically and literally, a long path to get here, long journey. They got in here late yesterday. It still allowed us to talk with them, speak with them before they went to training. They're a side that looks motivated and ready to go.
Yeah, well, and they've had a lot of tests. They had a very, very difficult national semifinal against Asheville City, but they responded well. They dealt with the pressure, they dealt with the constant barrage of attacks, and they responded. So now they've certainly earned their chance to come here. They have a long flight, they get settled in, and we get ready to go.
On the other side of that equation, the underdogs tonight. Peoria City, a 2-seed out of the lonely Heartland Division, have found their way all the way here after hosting every match so far this postseason. They're feeling good about their chances tonight as well.
Yeah, well, and I feel like underdogs kind of been the theme for Peoria across the playoffs. They came in as the 2-seed. They finally got the win over their division rival in Des Moines and then rode that success through the next weekend, and they find themselves here. They've gotten to host. They've earned the right to host the final here tonight, but it's really been an inspiring story for the Carp.
Now, impact players will have to show up tonight. First, for Seacoast United, they've got a ton of playmakers to pick from. Griffin, who do we got?
Yeah, well, Ibrahim Conde is one of the most powerful strikers in the entirety of USL 2. The guy's got 3 goals in 2 games, and the Canadian's going to lead this Seacoast team up front and look to power down on the Peoria defense.
Now, on the other side, just because you hinted on, Peoria City. Now, we can take a pretty good educated guess. Playoff Persenico has been dynamite so far.
Yeah, Luke Persenico has been absolutely unbelievable. A hat trick in the national semifinal to power his Peoria side to the final. And just an absolutely impressive playoff performance over the course of the last couple of weeks. It's a guy who can't find anything but the back of the net, and he'll look to keep it going this evening.
Now again, these two teams taking the tough road to get here, a division champ versus non-division champ Griffin. We're expecting a lot of up and down action today, a high press probably coming from Seacoast United against the counterattack of Peoria City.
Yeah, we're going to have a pretty good battle of these two teams clashing, but I think that the press is going to be something to watch for, as you mentioned, because the Peoria City team, they thrive off of open space in the attacking third, but Seacoast are going to make them work for it. You know, if Seacoast can find takeaways, if they can press and get possession on the Peoria side of the pitch, then we've seen how dangerous they are. They don't allow opposing attack to have much of an opportunity at goal, and they'll look to keep that consistent.
One of these two teams will win their first national championship and find a berth in the U.S. Open Cup. Griffin, we can't wait as we step aside for a short break.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
And with that, fans, welcome back to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois. We're just getting starting lineups underway, so we're going to step aside, let you take in the ambience of our starting lineups in National Anthem.
Number 15, Terry Makadika. Number 20, So Nishikawa. Number 21, Marcos Dos Santos. And number 24, Cooper Noon. Head coach for the Phantoms is Alex Ryan. Now let's meet the starting 11 for your hometown, Peoria City. In between the pipes from Paris, France, 1, Sammy Slimmy. From Durban, South Africa, 3, Josh Reddy. From Norwich, England, 4, Charlie Dickerson. From Crystal Lake, Illinois, 6, Tommy Coughlin. From Sebal, Portugal, 7, Joao Saraiva. From Roatan, Honduras, 8, Jose Gomez. From Williamsburg, Virginia, 9, Justin Wilson. From St. Charles, Illinois, 11, Luke Persenico. From Louisville, Texas, 14, DJ Kula. From Morton, Illinois, 20, Wes Gibson. And from Huron, Denmark, 23, Jonas Lashoy. Peoria City's head coach is Mike Pay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise. If you're able, gentlemen, please remove your caps and face the colors atop the grandstand with your hand over your heart. And join Kaylor Miller as he sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
fans, you have our starting lineups and national anthem, a beautiful rendition from some of the local talent here in Peoria. First, though, we want to take a quick minute to remind fans how each team got to this point. First, for the visitors from out east, it's Seacoast United. And you see on your screen a really good run through the playoffs with them. They took down a couple of nationally ranked teams. Griffin, they're no slouch.
Yeah, well, and they've had a defensive clean sheet in each of their playoff games, except for one being the conference final. This is a team that does not concede very often. They control the pace of the play, they control the possession, and they make you work. They deserve to be here as much as anybody.
And now for their starters, in case you missed it, Tobias Jan, Harrison Bertos, Jay Hook Mune, Chase Strine, the captain, Ibrahim Kande, Tig Healy, Zimaduk Rodriguez, Terry Makadika, So Nishikawa, Marco Dos Santos, and Cooper Noon round out their starters. Now for Peoria City and how they got here. The 2 seed out of the Heartland, Griffin. They've had a lot of home cooking and it's helped them.
Yeah, well, as the 2 seed, they've pushed through. They've got the home field advantage, of course, but they have been dominant. They completely dismantled FC Tucson in the other semifinal to get to this point, and they're looking to carry that momentum into the title match.
And now the starters for Peoria City. They're captained by number 4, Charlie Dickerson. He's one of a few Bradley players on this Peoria City side playing on their home field collegiately, but there's also a number of players from Clark, which we'll touch on throughout the contest, led by head coach Mike Pay.
Yeah, well, and it's a really dangerous side, and both teams have a lot to deal with. But I'm looking at the strikers. We talked about them in the open. You got Luke Persenico, you got Ibrahim Kundai. I'm looking forward to them clashing and seeing who can come out top.
Just about 3,000 plus strong, rolling into Shea Stadium. There doesn't look like there's many free seats, Griffin. We're getting to the point where it's just about standing room only, and these two teams are just about set to find which one of them will be a national champion. And so we'll take another quick look at our tail of the tape here, Griffin, as coming into today, it was kind of a David and Goliath concept. 30 years nearly for Seacoast United, only 3 years for Peoria City. They're two sides that have more or less contrasting styles, but they're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, contrasting styles, contrasting history, but they both made it to this point. And as this ball's kicked off, you're going to see both teams put the history behind them, focus on these 90 minutes. But it's been a long time coming for Seacoast. Peoria, a little fresher into the equation, but they have certainly improved and made their way here, and the fans are ready.
We're just about ready to go. It'll be Tig Healy, one of the kids that's been with Seacoast United since he was 5 years old, to kick them off in their first national championship, and we're underway. Gibson wins the initial header for Peoria City. Tig Healy for just a second. And now a long ball forward to Justin Wilson. That's going to be a lot of what Peoria City's trying to do today, claim the second ball after a long header.
Yeah, you're certainly going to see a lot of long balls, a lot of deep plays to try to build possession in the attacking third from Peoria. It's a Seacoast United team that's going to play their defensive line high. They're going to try to press you at the midfield, not let you even get into the attacking third. If they can get over the top, find their wingers, they'll be in a good spot.
Jonas Lashoy getting a second start in these playoffs at right back. He is typically an outside winger and a part of the forwards group for Peoria City. But due to Noah Basa Arami out today, the man out of Ghana and former MLS product, he will be out. Jonas Lashoy gets the nod. He's thrusted back in. He played well in his first start in that spot earlier this postseason.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from Lashoy last time he was out here for the Carp. Both him and Charlie Dickerson on the wing-back positions. They do a good job of building from deep, pushing the ball forward to the wing attackers, and allowing Peoria to get set and work the ball midfield.
Jay Hook Mune up to this near side. Dickerson gets it to Reddy, and Sammy Slimmy lines it up the near channel to Saraiva. Well done by the captain. That's number 8, Chase Strine. For Seacoast United, here's Wilson. He's cut off by Rodriguez. Long ball, trying to hunt out Conde over the top. He is as lethal as they come at the top of the formation, Griffin.
He completely is. It's a guy who's scored 3 goals in his last 2 games. He's so powerful. If he gets the ball on the top of the 18, you've got to expect he's going to muscle off his defender, turn, and shoot. and he's got the power and the pace to beat the goaltender and beat his defender simultaneously. So look for him to try to get something going on the top of the 18 if Seacoast struggled to build up set pieces and work things into the 18-yard box themselves.
So Nishikawa in his own end, they will build out of the back. Marco dos Santos has it taken away by Joao Saraiva. He's lofting it in to Persenico, a man whose name we will call a lot tonight.
Yeah, well, Saraiva does a good job of pickpocketing the ball on the near side here. It was a little bit of a giveaway, miss dribble from Seacoast, but the thing that United do well in response is they press in the midfield so quickly, they condense the central midfield and make it so difficult to pass out, even if you get the takeaway.
Ball back to Tig Healy. Inside, early chance, and it's swatted away by Slimmy. Well done, though, by the man who says he's played for Seacoast United since he was 5. Tig Healy, good strike. Initial offering is right there.
Yeah, and Sammy Slimmy's been so good at the keeper position this season. That reaction save is phenomenal. Diving full extension to his right side. It's what he's done all season.
It'll be a far-sided corner for Seacoast United. Their first of the game, just 3 minutes and change in. Low liner towards the front post, and it was cleared out by Justin Wilson. It will be a goal kick to Sammy Slimmy.
A couple appeals for another corner kick as a couple of the Seacoast forwards thought that ball was off of the Peoria defender, but Seacoast United so dangerous on those set pieces. They had 2 goals in the conference finals against Lionsbridge from the set piece. They're going to continue to feed those opportunities as the match goes on.
Foul on So Nishikawa of Seacoast United on the captain, Charlie Dickerson. Ready will lay it back to Sammy Slimmy. Again, one of these two teams will claim their first national title, as well a ticket will be punched for them into the U.S. Open Cup as the automatic qualifier, I should say, not an automatic berth. They will claim the first highest priority when it comes to selection out of the USL 2, followed by the 17 division winners. Here's Sammy Slimmy. Man out of Campbell, he has had a very colorful season with Peoria City this season. Not only has he come up clutch in big moments for them, but even during the regular season, he was kind of an unknown coming into the year. Ended up claiming back-to-back penalty saves against division rival Riverlight FC to secure a big 3 points for them in that win, which ultimately found them fighting for a chance at the division title in the last match week of the season. Seacoast United along that far side is hunted out by Persenico for a second. United on the front foot. Conde strike back to Healy, and that's the second one Healy will want back.
Well, we've seen that a couple times now, right on the front face of that 18-yard box. Just a couple of quick moves in on goal, and they get a nice left-footed shot. And firing it on goal is Healy, who has challenged Slimmy once and now misses just to the left side. He had 11 goals, Cody, in the regular season, but hasn't scored yet in the playoffs. He's got a couple of early chances, just hasn't found the back of the net. But it's much improved, I'll say, from the national semifinal against Asheville early from this side.
Touched on it a couple times. He's one of the local kids. He's from New Hampshire University, but he's from Southampton himself. Played for Seacoast since he was 5, played in 20 games with 9 starts this last fall at the collegiate level. And Dickerson called for the foul on Conde. All played back by Strine and to Moon. Ball jarred free by Jose Gomez. Nice flick of the foot. We'll have possession to Peoria City. But just look how quick Seacoast United gets back, Griffin. There's a reason they're here.
Yeah, that is beautiful from the defensive line. It's Jae-hyuk Moon that comes in and wins the ball, playing it off of DJ Kulai, rather. But Peoria trying to build in the midfield, but you're right. Seacoast just so quick, trying to respond and close down passing lanes.
Wes Gibson with some open grass, and he will drive forward. Formerly from SIUE, graduated this last year. Is from nearby Morton, Illinois, about a 20-25 minute drive away from Peoria. Ball played through. LaShoy chipped ahead. Back outside to Charlie Dickerson. Coughlin lets it go by to Dickerson. He'll work on and that will go into goal. And it will result in, I believe, a Peoria City corner.
And that's unfortunate for Seacoast because it was an excellent anticipation from Nishikawa to recognize the leave there and cover Dickerson, who is bouncing back toward the near corner flag, then gets the slightest of touches to disrupt the crossing attempt. It goes right to his keeper, but not before it goes over the end line, and Peoria have a set piece.
Jose Gomez, he's been the majority set piece taker for Peoria City this season. He will have one from the near side. Be a in-breaking ball. Here's line short. Here's Coughlin. Off to Saraiva, puts on a shot. Didn't have much venom behind it. And Coughlin is decleated by Conde. Good sportsmanship between the two. They're just two kids in a national championship playing hard.
Yeah, a lot of physicality earlier. I think if we saw that move in the 70th minute, it would be a pretty quick yellow card, but I don't mind the referee keeping the cards in his pocket here early. These two teams, they're going to put their bodies on the line. That's what you do in title games, but it's certainly a foul and an opportunity now for either Jose Gomez or Tommy Coughlin to put something in the box and give Peoria a dangerous opportunity in the first 10 minutes.
Gomez nearly scored from about this distance out in their last playoff match against FC Tucson. This would be a little far out of his range, but it's the national championship. Maybe you let it go. Gomez, it's blocked by the lone man in front of Healy. And Saraiva will claim the last touch. Possession to Seacoast United.
Well, I don't mind the hit there from Jose Gomez. He's trying to bring the crowd to their feet. He's trying to really get this atmosphere, these at least 2,500 strong, if not 3,000 that we have here at Shea Stadium, trying to get them into the game. But if he's going to go for goal, he's got to get a little bit more under it. It was just such a line drive, no chance to get through the mass of bodies in the box.
A lot of bodies forward here. 6 in the attack for Seacoast United. Strong run inside, finds some space, laid off to Healy. His strike is blocked away by Josh Reddy.
And there's another one from Healy. He's really going for it early here, showing no hesitation. When he gets an opportunity to put it on goal with that left foot of his, he's going for it. I think that one was going wide, but a nice attempt by Reddy just to poke it wide, make sure that he's not taking any chances on the far post, but another corner for United.
Working right into the 309, another far-sided corner. Takes one quick hop in front of the 6 and is cleared out. Possession to United. Looks like they may delegate the throw-in. Just about 10.5 minutes gone here in half number 1. Griffin, it's a fast-flowing 10 minutes. Not a lot of standing still so far.
Yeah, and some good opportunities either side, but I would say Seacoast with the advantage here in the first 10 minutes. Peoria getting a couple of chances, but off of set pieces, unable to build a whole lot for themselves early on here, versus Seacoast, who have been a little more clinical on the ball, able to push the ball into the attacking third and make the defense of the Carp sweat a little bit.
Moon sends a moon ball over the top and finds nobody home. It'll be a goal kick to Slimmy. So it appears already a tactical change for Peoria City. They have flipped Justin Wilson and Luke Persenico, interchanged the wings. So now Luke Persenico will work counterintuitive to his natural dominant foot here along the left side.
And I don't mind it. That's what they went with for the majority of the second half. Last Sunday against FC Tucson, they moved Persenico from the right to the left, and that's where he found his success. He put it in a hard shot with his left foot, driven across the face of the goal toward the far post, and cashed it in for his second of 3 goals for him.
DJ Kulai had his pocket picked by the captain in Strine. Big run forward here for United. It's hunted out by Gomez, and we're going to see a lot of this tonight in the midfield. perhaps some 50-50 balls, resulting in a lot of counter-attacking momentum.
They've got to be careful not to send too many numbers forward, so you see how quickly Seacoast can move to the wing.
Dos Santos drives low, going in, and they will say play on, ready, clears it up to Persenico.
Both the referee and Peoria captain Chris Dickerson telling him to get up there. He kind of just threw his body into the left back. Dickerson, the captain, held his ground, didn't encroach. They just ended up tangling up their feet because of where the Seacoast United attacker ended up shaping his attack.
Brian Alvarez, Reed Fry, officials tonight. And it will belong to Peoria City along this near side. Again, we're at Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois. Typically serves as the host for Bradley men's soccer games, but this summer has been just about the place to be in the USL 2 postseason. Peoria City has hosted every single playoff match they've had in this venue. Jonas Lashoy. Give and go, still free. And out to Peoria City. And this becomes the tactical edge for Peoria City. What they lack in corners, they generate a lot more in long throws with Josh Reddy.
Yeah, and Josh Reddy's got that ability to throw the ball in from 30, 40, just such a distance for the defender. I think they may struggle today, though. There's so many tall, physical bodies in the box for Seacoast. It's going to be difficult to get that flick header on from the long throw-in.
Reddy gives it his best launch towards Dickerson. Saraiva claims it for Peoria City. He goes low, chips it back inside, and there was nobody home. Tig Healy thought he maybe gotten fouled. Instead, Healy, regardless, ends up a part of the attack. Ball laid off to Healy. A lot of numbers here for Seacoast United. Marco Dos Santos. For DeConde. Still loose, and Coughlin gets it out of his own end.
And you can see that time the first of what I would assume many battles between Wes Gibson and Ibrahim Conde. Conde just trying to will the ball through the feet of the center back, and Wes said no that time, but that doesn't mean he's not going to stop trying.
Ishikawa looking for either Healy or Conde in front of goal. It will belong as Seacoast United's throw in, and they go quick. Jae-Hook Myun. And out of Mercer by way of Flower Mound, Texas. We'll come near side. Rodriguez. And a couple of overcooked passes. Temporarily have it with Peoria City. What are you kind of seeing here in the first 15 minutes, Griffin, that you've liked or disliked from each side?
Well, from Peoria City, I've liked the way that they've been able to maintain their shape. Seacoast, because of those quick passes, it's so easy to lose your concentration as a defender, right? You move off the ball, you move a little higher up the pitch than you should be, but they've done a good job responding. Seacoast, on the other hand, they've done a much improved job from the national semifinal. Against Asheville, yes, Asheville, one of the best teams in the league, probably the odds-on favorite to win going into the national semifinal stage, given that they still had not lost all season. But for Seacoast, they were behind in that match, not on the scoreboard, but just in the pace of play. But here they've controlled possession, they've controlled the opportunities much, much better in the first 15.
It will belong to Seacoast United following that foul by Saraiva. All lined up the center of the field to Conde. He lays a beautiful pass in behind to Nishikawa. Nishikawa lines it back inside on some service, and here comes Luke Persenico. Persenico laid off to Coughlin. Outside to Lashoy. Wes Gibson now, trying to find somebody out. Finds Saraiva, but taken away by Tig Healy. Justin Bertos. And that will belong to Peoria City.
I will say it's been really interesting to watch how Peoria have approached the right side attack early in this match. You have Jose Gomez, who just has so much space on the right side, but most of the time here they've passed him up in favor of Jonas Lashoy, who hasn't necessarily looked as physical on the ball as we're used to seeing him, bailing out a couple of times on challenges. And if they're not going to use Jose Gomez, I want to see Lashoy step up and be a little more physical and allow Gomez to get down the pitch more.
Strine and Nishikawa win the first two headers. It eventually falls to the feet of Gomez. Little tripped up, recovers well. Nikadika falls to Strine. And the captain more or less resetting things for Seacoast United. And the return pass. Bertos runs it off. Again, Strine. Strine trying to hunt out Conde, but another man playing out of position for Peoria City. Josh Reddy, who's typically a holding midfielder, is getting the nod at the left center back spot due to no Fritz Volmar today for Peoria City. Give and go to Persenico. Persenico, strike, it's off the line, and Peoria City will open the scoring in this final. It's Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson claims the first goal for Peoria City off the initial pass from Luke Persenico. Gets bobbled off the line a little bit, Griffin. Well executed by Peoria City. They caught Seacoast out.
Well, it looked for a moment's time, Cody, like Luke Persenico was just going to do it himself, because why wouldn't he with the form he was in? A little give-and-go pass. He found himself with some room on a tight angle on the left wing. Powers a shot on the near post, and just enough on it from Tobias Yon to keep it out for the moment, but Justin Wilson getting to it and just roofing the ball to the top of the net. This place loses its mind. I was getting ready to say that the longer this stays 0-0, the better it is for Seacoast United, because you take the crowd out of the game. The crowd's certainly in it now, Cody, 1-0 to the home side.
So if you were keeping track of underdogs, Cinderella has struck first. It's 1-0 to City. Seacoast United, though, more than capable of erasing a deficit. They've got multi-goal games in this postseason, scoring as many as 6.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like they've showed, they can come alive at any time, and it's because of playmakers like the man at the top, Conde, like Healy, who's had a couple of chances early, and Seacoast are going to look for a quick response, but they're going to want to do it quick before the 309 and the crowd continues to put more pressure on them.
309 getting the rest of the 3,000 here at Shea Stadium to life with their Come On City chant. Seacoast United, though, won't be intimidated. They've gone to hostile environments all year and come out with results, whether it's been Lionsbridge, Western Mass, Vermont Green. Many have tried, a lot have failed. Lined inside, quick chance coming back, blocked off the back of the captain, Dickerson. And that will belong as a throw-in for Seacoast United. Nikadika. Persenico and Dickerson. Persenico somehow golf swings that one out. Cooper Noon. So surrendering first in this final, Seacoast United, Griffin, but we just touched on it. They've got a ton of offensive capabilities. What's it going to take for them to try and claw one back?
I don't think they really have to change much. You know, that goal was certainly well worked by Peoria, but it was one of the first, if not the first, real chance that they have procured by themselves. So I think if Seacoast can stick to what they've been doing, forcing the ball up the pitch, the chances will come as they have so far, but it's certainly a situation they're not used to. It's the second time all postseason that they've conceded a goal, or at least the second game, and it's the first time that they're playing from behind in the postseason. So they've got a chance now to work from a position they haven't been in before, but still kind of show that they're comfortable.
Oh, well thought out. Good pass executed to Rodriguez, and a foul on Rodriguez. You could see the idea there. They opened up the interior spots inside the 18, filled it well.
Well, and it's such a difficult job for the Peoria defense to deal with that, because Dickerson, who's primarily such a major impact on the left side, if he gets drawn out, then it allows for that midfield run into the near post, and then you have guys like Wes Gibson and Josh Reddy who have to then step up. But a good job that time to deal with it from a defense that looks comfortable playing together as they have all season.
Again, 2 players playing out of position along the back line for Peoria City tonight, so they're going to have to communicate well against a really good Seacoast United forwards and midfield group. And escorted out of bounds by Wilson for the Seacoast United corner.
And a corner there after a well-worked ball, but just a nice sliding effort by Wilson just to go in feet first, block the ball, and I love how he kind of popped up at the end of the play there, right in front of the 309, amping him right back up to make some noise before this corner.
It's gone near post both times previous. They go that way again and flung into the 309. Belonged to Slimmy.
And that's such a difficult flick header to make from the near post for Shea Stadium. You can tell he's kind of unsure of himself of whether or not to go for goal in that situation. At the last second, kind of redirects his head to the right to push it near the net, but at that point the angle's too tough and he ends up sending it skyward.
Just a packed house here at Shea Stadium. Again, anticipating 3,000 or more in attendance for this USL 2 final. The pre-sale, I was told, tickets well exceeded a couple hundred more than the last few playoff games, and it has shown as Peoria City and their supporters have been treated to a good first 24 minutes and change. Seacoast United, though, has played well and weathered the storm outside of a 2-minute stretch. Long ball over the top to Wilson. Taken in by Rodriguez. Has a lot of room to run with Makadika on his hip. Marco de Santos plays it back to Rodriguez. Tough battle on the ball. Played off to Strine, let go, back to Moon, and now up to Nishikawa.
And the attack has just become so much more difficult for Seacoast in the last couple of minutes. It's mainly because of one thing, just the midfield line specifically of Peoria City just so deep in their own zone. There's just no space for runs to be made, not a whole lot of room to operate except from the back line. So you see Seacoast resorting to the long ball and just trying to make something of nothing.
That ball last headed out by Jonas Lashoy. Quick throw in to Rodriguez, and he will try a deep service. Gets it in well. Ball turned in deep. Wes Gibson smashes his heel into it. 25 minutes gone in half number 1. Chase Strine, man out of James Madison. Deep ball to Conde. And it will belong to Peoria City. But Strine, again, it's never a bad idea to go hunt out number 9 in sky blue.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. And the physicality, the battle there between Conde and Lashoy, it's difficult for Jonas in that situation to defend the ball and not get toppled over. And it's exactly what ended up happening. He gets the bail out of the foul and a free kick just in front of the end line.
Ball fluttering around to Saraiva. Foul against Peoria City. Teague Healy going outside quickly. Taken away immediately by Lashoy. That one flutters to Tobias Jan. First time we've really said his name. He's a man that will be here actually very soon. I guess in the grand scheme of things, Griffin, as Tobias Jan, man from Green Bay, will be playing in this stadium against Bradley this upcoming fall. Nice ball up the center portion of play, and a foul given to Wes Gibson. And Seacoast is arguing they would have, should have played the advantage.
Yeah, well, a yellow card's going to come out on that play. Just a tough tackle to make for the defensive back of Peoria City. They're just out of nowhere. Seacoast moving so quickly right down the heart of the Peoria City defense, and no choice but to commit the foul. Otherwise, a dangerous attempt on the top of the 18 was lurking.
Two-man wall for Peoria City. It's Joao Saraiva and DJ Kulai against Tig Healy. Possibly Rodriguez, should he decide to join the fray. American Rodriguez will decide to play the short roll here. Tig Healy. Chipped over the top. Headed away by Gomez. Strong carry forward by Dos Santos. And it will belong to Peoria City, and that gets some ovation from the 309.
Yeah, that's a wonderful job closing it off from Coughlin, and then just the slightest bit of touch off the edge of his boot into the Seacoast United winger, and Dos Santos winning possession. I want to go back to the yellow card and just bring up the fact that it'll be interesting, Cody, as this match goes on, to see how the Peoria City defensive strategy will change as this match goes on, because it was the Mortonite Wes Gibson who got the yellow card here in the first half, and as one of the center backs, especially with Abasa out of this match, you're already down in that department. You don't want to have to sub off Gibson prematurely.
Saraiva goes down, yelping in pain, and I think Marco Dos Santos knows he didn't mean to clip him as well as he did. Saraiva is off and okay, and no harm, but a foul. Need official calling for a quick stoppage of play. Here's Josh Reddy. Long one over the top. Taken in by Saraiva. Back to Coughlin and Saraiva. Those two have worked in tandem well this season. Rodriguez gets almost a touch on it as it goes outside to LaShoy. LaShoy fakes, drives, chips back inside. Kulai nearly put it in. Close call, but well done by Jan, orchestrating that back line. Give and go to Persenico. It's still off. Rocketed off Jan again. Peoria City putting the pressure on.
Not one, not two, but three chances in quick succession from Peoria City. And it all starts with a diagonal ball cross to the right side for Jonas LaShoy. And as soon as that pass gets made, you can tell Seacoast shift to the back foot. They're trying to recover. And it's oh so close to DJ Kulai on the initial effort to make it at 2-0.
30.5 minutes gone here in this first half. Peoria City and Jose Gomez on the near side corner. Towards the back post, over everybody. Saraiva tried to put a big rip into that one, and just not enough bend.
And a collective from the crowd as that shot goes through and just a little bit high. It's so difficult to keep that shot down, but it was a really good effort from Saraiva, who took that at the half volley and just slashed it in toward the goal, just rose a little bit too much in the end.
Now Seacoast United will try and break out and cause some havoc. Marco Dos Santos as we get to the last 10 minutes and change of this first half. Chase Strine. Conde. And he's fouled. Excuse me, that is not Conde. That's Mika Dika for Seacoast United. He's fouled in a dangerous spot. Peoria City's been susceptible to these free kicks in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's a poor foul to give up from Jose Gomez, who's just in a poor position defensively. Didn't need to step in, but Mekadia just makes his body big, allows for the defender to come in and make contact, and now a very dangerous free kick. It looks like Healy is going to step up there along with Dos Santos. Healy has been very confident on that left foot early, and I would guess he's going to go for goal on this rather than a right-footed service into the box.
Kulai, Gomez, Saraiva, and Gibson, the four-man wall for Peoria City. Healy puts on a rip, and it's a diving play made by Sammy Slimmy.
And it wasn't poor placement by any means. It was a good placement on the shot, just not a whole lot of pace on it from Healy, and it allows Slimmy, who initially, with the misstep going toward his near post, anticipating the ball over the wall, makes the correction in time, goes to his right and makes the save, catching it cleanly.
Super Sammy chance coming out of the 309 now. Well done along that far side by Mikadika. Still with it. Mikadika does well to get it out to Rodriguez. Ball over the top. And that one just a little hard to handle for Nishikawa. Ball lofted towards Persenico out of play. I want to remind fans coming up at halftime that we'll have a interview with Peoria City captain Charlie Dickerson. Sat down with me yesterday to just give me a few minutes of his time about what this would mean. We've gotten the pleasure to interview two athletes, both from Peoria City and Seacoast United. You saw a few of them in our open and pregame show to start the day, and everyone kind of had the same sentiment coming into this one with the two locally based teams. And when I asked each athlete about playing for the people where they're from, he simply said whatever it takes. Noon will drive forward. Ball over the top. Conde against Reddy. And again, that matchup has been one to watch. Really anyone that involves Conde is going to be highlighted when this match is done. Young man has a bright future in this game. All being worked around the back end. Chase Strine. Near side. Nishikawa against Dickerson. Led forward. Dos Santos. Line back inside. Slimmy is on it.
And a little fist bump between Sammy Slimmy and Charlie Dickerson. It was I'm not sure how intentional it was from Dickerson to kind of chest the ball down to his keeper, but gets his body in the way and puts it right in the path of Slimmy, who is able to clean it up and boot it long.
Shoy will let it go to Gibson and back to Slimmy. Oh, but a fairly poor bounce for Peoria City's side of things as Reddy takes a stab at it. Joao Saraiva working against Strine. You can just see that press in action, and it makes you think quick.
It does, but I feel like Peoria have dealt with it a little bit better over the last 10 minutes or so. They look more controlled, more confident on the ball, especially around the center circle. And Seacoast have still brought that press, but it just hasn't been as menacing as I think it looked in the first 5 or 10 minutes of this match, where it seemed like Peoria only had half a thought to put into where the ball was going to go next before it was stolen away. Here it seems like they have a little bit more time to make the right pass.
Ball from Gomez goes all the way back to Slimmy. Conde will give it a look. Wilson flicked forward to Kulai. Still free. Numbers here for a moment. Wilson with the service inside, sent right back. Rodriguez gets it out wide, and Seacoast do well.
And Wilson was trying to go low to the middle of the box there for Kulai, but Kulai was still a little wrapped up in the previous challenge, so he wasn't able to make a break on that near post until the ball had flared across. So he's just a little bit behind on the play, but the idea is certainly there. Seacoast have to find a way to get bodies on that winger a little bit earlier, because that was just unrestricted service into the box, and it could be so dangerous.
Dickerson's pass, not a great one, taken in by Strine after a couple redirects. Peoria City has kind of shifted their shape here a little bit, Griffin, and both teams, at least online, started out in a 4-3-3. We've seen both become pretty fluid to this point.
Yeah, well, and I think it's a little more natural to see Peoria go a little bit more defensive, kind of in a 4-3 or 4-1-3-2 rather, with a defensive midfielder in Jose Gomez. And I don't mind it. I think as the first half ends here, we're going to see that press naturally slow down a bit. The teams conserve their energy for the second half, knowing that with these two teams, it could end up really opening up at some point, and it's best to still have fresh legs when that time comes.
Well, both these teams scored second-half goals in their semifinal matchup. Peoria City and FC Tucson went scoreless to the break before 5 were put on the board by the Carp in the second set of 45 minutes. Meanwhile, all that was needed in Seacoast United semifinal was their lone goal from Nishikawa. And so these two teams will definitely maybe not make adjustments, but go over some things to tighten up in half number 2.
Well, and that certainly speaks to the defensive ability of the Seacoast team that they held Asheville to no goals.
Ball played back inside, still loose, played forward. Healy blocked off the line. How did Slimmy get away with that one? And that will bring the crowd to their feet.
Yeah, Healy looks frustrated after that one. He did such a good job to get in on goal, put the ball on his right foot, and then coasted it back to his left. He thought he had opened up some space on the far post for him to just punch it away, but it ended up being Sammy Slimmy who got the first anticipation on it, got there, made his body big, and just got enough on it to keep it out and keep this game the way it is.
Healy off the shoulder blades of Gomez, and LaShoy lines it all the way to Young. He has the nickname Super Sammy Slimmy for a reason around Peoria. The 309 have taken to him quite well after his heroics this season, but Seacoast United, you can feel it in the air, Griffin. They're building something here at the late in the half. A lot of momentum forward. Conde getting central for Seacoast United and running out of real estate for the goal kick.
And a lot of contact there between, I believe it was Justin Wilson and the left winger and Mekadika, and he was very, very frustrated, slamming his right hand down to the ground that he didn't get the call. He well worked the run down to the end line and then tried to cut it back and get it onto his foot for a cross and lost his footing a little bit, obviously, from up here. Tough to tell if that was nature's doing or if it was the defender, but no call this time and no free kick.
We talked with some of the members from USL 2, this being one of the few natural grass finals in the USL 2 in the 30-odd year run of this final. Conde working against Reddy.
28516. License plate EM 41535.
Finds its way back to Cooper Noon.
License plate
Man from American University. He's also hails from Australia. He was Patriot League third team last year and appeared and started in all 16 contests last fall.
5516. And license plate
Talked to head coach Alex Ryan earlier this week about some of the impact guys, and he said, you know, in the USL 2, a lot of bodies in and out. Cooper Noon has been one of those guys that every coach relishes to have. He's a guy that keeps the team together with all the changing pieces, and he's always that steady Eddie on the back line.
Well, and he does a great job of pulling the team together in situations where they need someone to look up to. He's not the captain on this team. That honor goes to Chase Strine, but he is the captain at American University, or at least he served as the captain last fall, and it's a guy who knows how to bring a locker room together, and that even though he isn't the official captain of this team, he certainly carries some of those same traits into Seacoast.
Two-man wall out there for Peoria City is, again, Seacoast United with a fairly menacing free kick. Chipped over the top, back post, headed down, and Dickerson got one touch on it. And you can see him flexing and screaming to the 309. Seacoast just, that last 4 feet from goal has been their undoing so far in the first half.
Yeah, and I feel like that finish has to be better because Dickerson made a mistake. He wasn't on his back post fully there. And it opened up a free header opportunity for Cooper Noon, who just didn't get the contact on it, and then Mikadika trying to find something.
Here's DJ Kulai, who's taken out just in front of the penalty area. It was a beautiful redirected ball for Peoria City, and now this is where Jose Gomez may get the last say of the half.
And I will say they are lucky to get away with a yellow card there because Kulai is in on goal. There's a real case for that to be a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, which outside of the box would result in a red card. They get away with the yellow here, but you're right, an increasingly dangerous opportunity. We'll see who ends up taking it right now. It's Gomez that's standing over the ball, and he hands it off to Persenico. So we'll see who ends up taking it. Just a little to the right side of the 18, so maybe a left foot, maybe curler near post.
Could be. Gomez has shown his ability to put rockets on goal with the right foot. Regardless, it's with the height differential for Peoria City not in their favor. Seacoast United does well here. They put a big wall out in front, a man low to potentially block anything low on the ground. We'll see how it all shakes out with just about 43 minutes gone. Gomez and Persenico 2 strides back. Gomez puts it in the pines. Tobias Young. Trying to go long over the top. Dickerson wins the header but loses possession for Peoria City. So Nishikawa on the throw-in. Another one of the Green Bay players for head coach Alex Ryan. Take Healy down behind the play. Just wanting the foul.
And Healy appears all right. He took a little bit of a shot after he had gotten the ball stolen away from him. So the referee had turned his body away. You could hear the clashing of the bodies from up here, but he appears all right with maybe a little bit of a hobble.
Dickerson plays it short. It's taken away by Nishikawa. Momentum here for United before the soon-to-be Bradley Sr. clears it out. Noon again. Just about to stoppage time in this first half. Again, time will officially be kept on the field. We'll have a stopwatch up here with us to give you the most accurate reading we can, but it should be a fairly short amount, no more than a couple minutes. Ball will belong to Peoria City along this near side. Ready, long throw. It's the redirect to Noon. Dickerson wins that one for Peoria City as we are officially in stoppage time. Long ball over the top. Noon and Kulai collide. Quick flick taken away by Seacoast. They've got a chance out here to take Healy. Out wide to make it Dika. Working against LaShoy. Lines it back inside, and Nishikawa made a beautiful run. Just not quite there on the timing, as now Sammy Slimmy is hurt behind the goal.
Well, a couple of things to break down here, obviously, but Seacoast trying to steal the momentum back at the end of the half. And you're right, a absolutely beautiful run to the back post by Nishikawa, who had the goal that sent Seacoast to this point. He scored the lone goal in the national semifinal, wide open on the back post. And then Sammy Slimmy appears to be okay. There's one of the sponsor signs that's face down now on the turf. I wonder if he just kind of barreled into it, didn't realize it.
Gomez and Healy, those two have done battle in the midfield all first half. And Gomez, as we will have the stoppage here in the first half. After 45 minutes, Peoria City leading 1-0 over Seacoast United. Griffin, an action-packed first half and a lot to like from both sides.
A lot to like from both sides and a lot of momentum to carry into the second half from both sides. But Peoria City have to feel like they're in a good spot. They did what so many teams have struggled to do, and that is find a way onto the scoreboard against this very, very difficult Seacoast United squad. Seacoast, on the other hand, had some really, really good opportunities. Conde, Marco dos Santos, and they found ways onto the 18. They found ways into chances on goal. They just couldn't find the go-ahead, couldn't find the equalizer once they were trailing, but a lot to look forward to in the second half.
We'll go ahead and step aside for a short break. We've got our interview with Charlie Dickerson coming up.
Welcome in, guys. I'm Cody Roskins. Joining me now, a very special guest, team captain for Peoria City, M. Bradley, playing his championship game on his home field, Charlie Dickerson. Charlie, thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's been a special year. Obviously, you've taken kind of a unique path to get here. Junior college, coming from overseas before that to Bradley, and now you're playing for the newly minted USL 2 team here in Peoria. Just kind of tell me what that journey's been like for you. One, obviously coming from across the seas, but you've even played a stint in the USL 2 prior to this.
Yeah, very true, very true. For me, it's just been a crazy journey. From starting off in England, making my way out to a JUCO that was open-handedly wanted me. So I made my way there, Jefferson College, Hillsborough, St. Louis. I then done my 2 years there, had a good two seasons there. In my freshman season over the summer, played for St. Louis Lions. In my second summer, then played at St. Charles, our division rivals currently, and then transferred here to Bradley, Division 1 school. Enjoyed every moment of it so far. And yeah, lucky to play here right now at Peoria City, which is just taking everyone by surprise, I think.
So we kind of joked just a few minutes ago in the previous press conference that what did you really learn about yourself during this process? And obviously, it's an extremely long season, longer than 224 other teams out there, 226 other teams out there. And you had kind of joked that your legs were finally able to take the total amount of minutes. Has that been a big mental block for you or anything like that in terms of overcoming that obstacle before?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I've played, apart from a college season, I don't think I've ever played this many games in such a short period of time and played 90 minutes and 120 minutes as we got into the playoffs every single game. But, you know, physically, yes, I do feel tired. Mentally, I feel locked in. I feel ready to go. With a game on Saturday, the biggest game of my US career, mentally I'm going to be switched on and telling myself that I'm not tired.
I don't know if you've known it yet coming in, but in the last 3 playoff games, last 4 playoff games, you've knocked out teams with almost 100 total years, 90 total years of experience as a club at this level. Because we're only in year 3. This is only year 2 for you at this level. What kind of confidence does that do for you, for anybody else on the team, getting to this point?
For me personally, I live up to moments like these. I love being the underdog. I think that just sets us up perfectly to go and prove people wrong. Because at the end of the game, soccer's about opinions, and as many opinions you can prove wrong, then you're doing the right thing. But as a team, though, we have 20 guys that just want to prove people wrong day in, day out. And if you can keep those guys together, which we have done for a whole summer, you're going to be on the right path. So we keep on doing it. The David and Goliath thing, we live up to it, and we can't wait.
20 years from now, more so, when you're rich and famous, looking back at a very insignificant time, including this interview, if I were to ask you, what's the Charlie Dickerson dream? Like, what's the end goal? What would you tell somebody?
Finish out my college experiences, finish with a degree, plan B. But, yeah, I want to find myself playing in big stadiums and living up to my dream that I've always had since a little kid. Being the next Sergio Ramos, that's what I want to be. I want to play pro like many of the other guys on the team, and honestly, I feel like I'm in a great place to prove my case, and I'm just going to keep my head down. What will be, and I'm a true believer in things happen for a reason, and I'm a patient guy, and I give it my all on the field, and like I said, the game's all about opinions, so hopefully there's one person out there that believes in me, and you know, when a person does that, they have my trust, and I'll give them absolutely everything.
One of my last questions for you, obviously coming from overseas, do you have much family back home that's able to tune into the games, check in on your progress?
Yeah, so I always joke around with my dad and granddad and my mum, and when we play at 7:30 across the whole summer, it's hard for them to get up at 2:30 a.m., watch the game, and then get up and go to their full-time jobs, because I have brothers and sisters back home. They need providing for them. My mum does a great job of that. But no, they tuned in for the first time this summer against Flint City. They woke up early, and then we played on the Sunday midday, and they watched that one as well. But they're not missing it. Tomorrow they're not missing it. They'll be setting their alarms early in the morning, 2 o'clock, and they'll be ready to watch at 2:30. So I'm blessed.
Come tomorrow night, roughly 10 o'clock, should you walk out victorious, how closely will your reaction to your family's back home reaction be in celebration?
I'll be straight on FaceTime. I'll be calling all of them. We speak constantly on the group chats. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. I've got such a close connection with all of my family back home, and I'm just so grateful that they can support me this whole way. And although they don't understand much about the systems out here, whether it's with school and whether it's with soccer, they always listen to me, and they're always there for me whenever I need help, or whether I need confidence, encouragement, or just sharing times of victory. But yeah, they're always there for me, and I love it.
Charlie, I can't thank you enough for joining me.
Thank
Best
you
of
very
luck
much for
tomorrow.
having me.
And Griffin, back to you guys.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois, the host venue for tonight's USL 2 Final between Peoria City and Seacoast United. I'm Cody Roskins. Let's get you back for just a quick break. I want to give you a quick read off of the stats to this point in the first half. 7 shots, 3 saves, 2 corners for Peoria City. For the visitors, Seacoast United on the scoreboard, 8 shots, 2 saves, 3 corners. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this Clutch Sports Media production here on Sports Engine Play. We're going to step aside for another short break before we come back for more here at halftime.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome back here to Shea Stadium. It's halftime between these two final sides. It's Peoria City and Seacoast United. It's also Cody Roskins and Griffin Leonard with you here at the break, getting ready for another action-packed 45 minutes. We've got about 10 minutes or so left here in the halftime intermission. Griffin, these two sides, it was a lot of punch, counter punch, uppercut, sidestep. There was a lot of physicality, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch, a lot of chances, the majority of which coming off of the wings. Both teams trying to attack from the outside in. We haven't seen a whole lot of pushes through the midfield other than a chance or two early for Seacoast United striker Ibrahim Kande. But a really fun first half. 45 minutes of action. The crowd's certainly gotten into it at times, and I'm expecting the following 45 to live up to the hype just as the first did.
A couple of the impact players we touched on in the open came through in that first half. We talk about all the kids from Clark. Well, it doesn't get any better than Luke Persenico and his anchor mates. You take a look on your screen. Luke Persenico is just one of many of the players from Clark that have made their way here to Peoria. NAIA school, little known enrollment. But Mike Pay and his kids, going up against all these big schools with high talented players and highly renowned players, have made an impact this summer, and they're 45 minutes away from hosting a national championship.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys that have gotten chances to play against big school kids. They've gotten a chance to play against guys that have played in MLS academies, guys that have come from Europe playing for non-league English teams. It's a chance for guys from an area where you wouldn't necessarily think of first as a soccer hub to get a chance to really make their mark and shine against some really high-level talent. And guys like Persenico, guys like Josh Reddy, they've been able to do that consistently against these high-level teams all season long.
We always like to touch on here when we had the privilege to do some home playoff games for Peoria City that Mike Pay's side is always very good at the halftime adjustments, as is Seacoast United and Alex Ryan. But something that's of note going into this second half for Peoria City is they have scored in the second half of every single game this season, regular season and post, except for one. And so they're looking to continue that trend here to try and find a second. Meanwhile, Seacoast United's pretty much kept everybody off the scoreboard in the second half, and it's opened up chances for them in half number 2.
Yeah, it's not a bad couple of stats, and it's interesting then because neither one of those things can happen. Those things can't both happen. So it's going to be a really good battle to see which of the teams comes out ahead. But not only do Seacoast United have to find a way to stop Peoria City, they've got to get one of their own. They've certainly showed that they can do that. But Peoria have matched their tempo. They've matched their final third aggressiveness, their intensity, and we'll see if they can keep it up for another 45.
3,000 strong here at Shea Stadium cheering on their home-sided Peoria City, but the visitors from out east have given them quite the test. It was their ranking sitting at number 2 nationally coming into this postseason. They've done very well from themselves. Dethroned number 1 Asheville City, Lionsbridge, Ocean City Nor'easters. If it's been a big test, these kids in Sky Blue out from Maine have really done well. New Hampshire have done very well for themselves in this postseason.
They certainly have. I mean, like we said earlier in the show, when these two teams played against each other in Seacoast United and Asheville City were the team that was undefeated the entire season, just 1 or 2 draws, unbeaten going into the postseason. They looked like they were likely to continue that and make the national championship. Seacoast not only surprised them, but they shocked the entire eastern side of the USL 2 world. Now trying to do the same out here in the Midwest, but they do have some work to do.
Want to step aside for another quick break as our Jonathan Michael caught up with Chase Strine of Seacoast United before our match today.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Chase Strine of Seacoast United. It's been a fantastic season for you guys. Overall, what's been your favorite part of this whole playoff run?
I would say just keeping every single game coming thick and fast. I think we've played every weekend twice, so it's been huge to stay together with all the guys and continue to grow partnerships and friendships along the way and just keep enjoying winning and having fun.
Sure, you talk about building those friendships, and USL is a unique league. You can get players from any age, any background playing in there. What has it been like, being able to just bond with these guys, not only on the field but off the field as well throughout the summer?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think there's players from literally all over the globe on our team. So I think that every single moment that I can spend with them and learn their backgrounds and learn from their college experiences, it's been huge. And I think we just want to keep it going and win this game and enjoy it together.
And you guys, again, lots of wins, only 1 loss on the season. What has been a factor in helping you guys just have this record that you guys have had and being able to not only do that during the regular season, but also stay hot during the playoffs?
Yeah, I would say I'd give a lot of credit to our coach, Alex Ryan, as well as the quality of the players that we have in this group. I think we've gone through a lot of different ups and downs, and we've just found a way to stay together and get the results and win games, and I think that's the main key that we've had throughout this whole playoff run and regular season.
What does it mean to you, just being able to play on this stage in a game like this and playing for a very big and a very coveted trophy? 128 teams in the league, and only 1 can hold it up.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so special, is that never been here before and want to end it with a trophy at the end of it and just enjoy it.
All right, guys. Chase Strine again of Seacoast United. Chase, thank you for taking the time to stop in. Seacoast United, again, looking for USL League Two National Championship right here from Shea Stadium in Peoria, Illinois.
there you see some of the scenes from the campus of Bradley University. It's Bradley Hall as well as some of the gargoyles that decorate here around Bradley University. And again, here at Shea Stadium in Peoria, Illinois, it's the USL 2 Final. It's Peoria City and Seacoast United, 1-0 at the break. We're going to step aside for another short toss. We have more coming up at halftime.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories.
your stats and standings, your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts.
As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better. With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds.
CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action.
More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
And now we have the gargoyles and some of the scenes from Bradley Hall. I got a little eager of myself there during that last toss, but those are some of the unique features and scenes around the campus of Bradley University, to which we are currently just about a mile away from. And it's always an interesting prospect when you come to Bradley because their mascot is the Braves, but their physical mascot is Kaboom the Gargoyle. And I wanted to get this in because it's named after the longtime Bradley basketball play-by-play man, Dave Snell. Anytime Bradley dunks the basketball, screams kaboom. And so just an interesting tie-in to the university, athletics, as well as academics. It's a nice family reunion between those sides. And it's obviously the host venue of tonight's USL 2 Final, to which some of those student-athletes of Bradley now playing in tonight. And so with that, we welcome back in Griffin Leonard. And Griffin, doesn't get much better than this. We've only got about 48 seconds here before the resumption of play, but both these head coaches making adjustments in the locker rooms.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have many gargoyle stories to tell you, Cody, but we can certainly talk about what should be an exciting 45 minutes here. The teams switch sides and get ready to go, but they look ready. They look energized, and going into the locker rooms, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of adjustments to be made, but so much of the focus is on the players during these 45 minutes, seeing the way that they move things. But the second they head to that locker room, it's all coaching. They've got to find a way, both Mike Pay and Alex Ryan, they have to find a way to reorganize their squads, make the necessary adjustments, almost having a sixth sense of knowing what your opponent's going to come out with in the second half. And now we'll see how the two teams match up. The Phantoms of Seacoast United needing a goal here in half number 2. Are Phantoms close enough to Gargoyles for you, Cody?
I don't know if they must fall in the same. It's been a while since I've taken science. What's it go? Genus, something or other. But they've got to be in the same extended family. You would have to assume. Long ball over the top. Justin Wilson on the receiving end for Peoria City. DJ Kulai had the second half kickoff. Will belong to Seacoast United. Direction of attack in this second half. It'll be Peoria City in the all black and gold kits working from left to right. the other way. In the sky blue and white, Seacoast United will work right to left. Conde closely checked by Gibson. Shea Stadium falls to the feet of Makadika. And out of play off Coughlin. Conde tangled up with Gibson, gets past him, working on Reddy. And gave it a lot of strength. Sailed it over everything into the fence behind the pine trees here at Shea Stadium.
Yeah, Conde didn't necessarily get the best of strikes on it. It almost looked like it took a deflection, but it is called a goal kick and not a whole lot of arguments coming from the striker. But it's a good insight in the first minute or so of the second half to see how Seacoast are going to play things early. They're going to try to push the tempo, force the issue on this Peoria City team, and see if they can make the Carp a little more uncomfortable here, as there is a hard foul and some disdain from the crowd as the yellow comes out.
And that will be a yellow on Coughlin, who went in low and tried to get the ball, but at the end of the day, excessive. And again, we saw a very physical first half. Still up and down, though, letting a lot of these two teams get up and down. So Nishikawa is up and okay after taking that physical play from Tommy Coughlin. Tommy Coughlin, another one of those Green Bay men, by way of Crystal Lake, Illinois. '48th minute here in Peoria. Oh, well done by Seacoast United. Able to keep it in the run of play over the top, make a Dika. Now Rodriguez and Kulai. Chase Strine, again, wearing that captain's band tonight for Seacoast United. Heard from him earlier tonight. The interview that John Michael had with him gave a great perspective on this team's season and his feelings coming on into the match tonight. Makadika goes low, and it will generate a corner kick for Seacoast United.
Well, it's good that they got the corner there, because if that ball does flash toward the 6-yard box, there's just no one in the middle to receive it. They've been working the ball around the edges of the box, but just not much of a crossing opportunity. And you have guys for Seacoast like Teague Healy that are going to try to make themselves big.
Going up top, it was knocked free away from Slimmy by one of his own men. Healy puts on a strike, and they level! Seacoast United beat Sammy Slimmy off the back, and we're level in Peoria. Big play by Seacoast United early in the second half.
Yeah, and what a strike that is from Healy, just to tee it up from the 18. He went sliding to the ground to try to maintain his control of possession there, cuts it back onto his left foot, and just lets it rip. That's one that Sammy Slimmy needs to be able to stop. It was down the middle of his goal. I think he got a tough read on it, a little bit of a screen on the top of the 18, because he kind of hopped to his right initially, but by the time he had to come back left, it just wasn't there. But the shot wasn't very far away from where he initially set up shop. You would have thought it would have been a relatively easy save, but instead, an equalizer for Seacoast.
Well, we told you these two teams are going to put up some goals tonight, and Seacoast United finds their first here in the second half as we are level off the foot of Healy and Seacoast United. Falls to Makadika. Oh, now here's man out in front is Conde, and it will be offsides. That's where that press gets you. Seacoast United coming out of this half looking very aggressive.
Very, very aggressive and ready to nab a second one there. And if it weren't for the assistance flag going up there, very well might have, as Ibrahim Conde had his best run, it appeared, of the game, but just a tad offside. Peoria looking to respond.
Coughlin trying to get it to Saraiva and does.
And Joao Saraiva is a guy that I want to see get involved a little more in the second half. It's not a name we called a whole lot, as he kind of shifted to more of a defensive presence late on in the first, but I want to see him get involved more in the attack as he draws a foul in midfield.
That's one of the things Peoria City is going to have to do against this press is win those one-on-one wars and try and turn an attack. Did okay in that regard in the first half, but so far here in half number 2, you can see Seacoast doing a really good job of constricting the passing lanes and forcing those one-on-one drives.
Attention fans, we have
ball will go out
hear your name, claim the prize at the
for a
merchandise
Seacoast
stand.
United throw-in from
Olivia
Bertos
Morris,
from Washington University
Justin
and
Tuttle,
Bedford, Maine.
Shelly Vapp, Nick Escribano, and Emma Curry.
Putting a run on it, Marco Dos Santos. And Slimmy swings a hard one into it towards Persenico. It's still there for Kulai. Could be cleaned up. Kulai blocked away. Persenico and Peoria City will set up. Here's Gomez. Gomez! Low liner didn't have much of a chance. Carries on, one touch back to Kulai, still fluttering around. And Dos Santos and Dickerson.
Well, Seacoast finally get it clear, but that is pretty much the very definition of something out of nothing. You see Sammy Slimmy boot the ball nearly 70 or 80 yards, it looked like, and just nearly right down to the feet of Luke Persenico and DJ Kulai, both of whom, rather than taking the initial touch, trying to bring it down for a shot, they let that ball bounce once, which allowed for that United defense to get back and force the disruption.
Second yellow of the match handed to Seacoast United and Rodriguez. Him and Bertos with the 2 bookings so far after that delay of game. That's just something you have to avoid in this final. Obviously, a little bit of a frustration foul against Gomez, but got to keep your head in that moment. It's okay to have some gamesmanship, but nothing that'll hurt your team in the long run. 53rd minute. Jose Gomez chipping it ahead. Jan claims it well.
And that ball just kind of having a little bit of inside-out movement. He would have liked to keep it straight, if not curling away from the back post, but it hooks in on goal, and it just kind of floats up there with the backspin, and Tobias able to come out and claim it for an easy catch.
A lot of momentum forward here for Seacoast United before Dickerson got into the fast lane for that one. Now here's Tage Healy over to LaShoy. Saraiva will fake retreat, gets caught up in the double team. Nakadika laid off, chipped back outside to Healy. Conde will let it roll, gets back on the receiving end. Slim, he put his body on the line for that one.
And then another just reflex save by Sammy Slimmy to keep this one manageable. So many scoring chances for Seacoast that they just haven't been able to capitalize on. I feel like both teams are trying to just one-up each other in terms of speed and intensity. They just keep trying to just be a little bit quicker than the previous possession, which is fine to an extent, but the pace of play gets so quick, but the quality of play becomes so sloppy. But simultaneously, chances start to open up as the defense gets all out of whack.
Ball gets pushed outside to Charlie Dickerson. Coughlin lofted deep into the corner for Persenico. He'll drive. Persenico with some space, puts it on. It's taken away by Moon. Ball out wide to Charlie Dickerson. A little bit of space here for City. Chipped ahead. Wilson's there. And out of the back, and it will belong as an offside call.
And a couple of chances for Peoria. You can see both wingers getting in on the attack. Looking at the first one, Luke Persenico gets some space on the left wing. You can tell he wants to get the ball onto his stronger left foot. Cuts it onto his right and just doesn't get the power on because he had that tight angle. And then Justin Wilson just sneaking just across from the back post in centrally, and just a step or two in front of his defender, getting called for offside, but a decent chance forming for Peoria.
Cooper Noon near side here to Bertos. Conde up to Healy. Healy drives well, couldn't get past Gibson. Gomez, a lot of room to work, plays it off to Saraiva. Up the chain of command to Wilson before it's taken away by Rodriguez, and he's got a ton of space to work. Both these teams living in the counterattack. Healy from way out. Wilson back to LaShoy. That takes a nearly unfortunate redirect. Neither of these teams really like to dirty the game up more or less, but some ping pong being played right now. Throwing along the far side for Nishikawa. Ball taken away. Forward momentum here for City. Saraiva. Saraiva! Put it on a laser line and tried to tuck it in the corner.
And it just comes off another giveaway. It's just such a sloppy throw-in where Seacoast didn't even get a foot on the ball, and Peoria able to take it away. Saraiva gets a decent look at it, just drives it from distance and hooks it a little bit high of that top crossbar into the supporters, but a good look for Peoria as they try to generate another takeaway here.
Persenico to Saraiva. Joao back post, DJ! He'll turn up the jams as Peoria City reclaims the lead. It all appeared to happen in slow motion, Griffin. The service out to Saraiva, the whip back post, and Kulai was all too happy to punch it home.
And it almost initially looked like they had screwed up the chance. They pushed it out wide, and it looked like Saraiva's run was to try to cut it up into the 18. Instead, the ball pushes him out wide. He says, I can work with that, flushes the ball back post, and DJ Kulai, the striker, keeps his head, uses his head, and pushes the ball back post. And just a few moments after Seacoast had found the equalizer, the home side find themselves right back in front here in the national championship.
It'll go down unofficially as a 57th minute goal by DJ Kulai, assisted by his college teammate, Joao Saraiva. A couple of subs checking into the match for Seacoast United. Samuel White and Mitchell Varley coming into the game for Seacoast United. So the first bench moves being made by Alex Ryan.
Peoria City goal scored in the 58th minute by number 13, DJ Kulai.
Long ball over the top. So officially that goes down as 58th minute goal scored by Kulai, assist by Saraiva. As we go 60th minute here in the second half. Griffin, this is still far from over.
Still very, very far from over. This game's still very opened up, and no signs of slowing down as that ball whistles over the end line out for a goal kick. But Seacoast look to kind of just try to roll with the punches here. Yes, they concede again, but just as we saw 10 minutes ago, they're certainly capable of getting themselves back into the match, and they'll look to do so at the first moment's notice.
They still have time to do so, like you said, Griffin. The time isn't working against them just yet. They do know they have to get something in the next 20 and change, next 30 and change, but if their start out of the locker room in the second half was any indication, I think they'll be okay. Gomez forward to Persenico. Man who assisted on that first goal for Peoria City is Persenico getting fancy with it. Now the fireworks are starting to come out for both teams.
There's a certain point, Cody, in cup ties like this where both teams, they kind of just hover their finger over the switch, and it's like, when do we go, when do we go, when do we go now? And for both teams, it kind of seems like in the last 5 to 10 minutes, that switch has been flipped where both teams just putting it out all on the line, and both sides getting the positive and negative effects of that. Both getting caught in with a goal against them, but both getting one for themselves in their favor. But that's what happens when the game opens up. Offense happens, and as I mentioned before, the quality diminishes, but the chances certainly find themselves open with space.
We definitely thought this game could open up in the second half, Griffin. As Peoria City on the defensive here, as a big push coming forward by Seacoast United. And Gomez submarines down to push it out of play. Again, 2 bench moves so far through this contest. Samuel White and Mitchell Varley, the 2 checking into the contest. Both midfielders from Boston College and Providence. And so, again, we talked in the open about how much local talent there is, and both of those Northeastern connections looking to help out their side, Seacoast United, here in the last 30 minutes. Still nothing from Peoria City in terms of movement off the bench. Mike Pay, at least to this point in the season, has been fairly conservative with his tactical adjustments, waiting till the 70th or later. Conde pivots, plays through, chance for going backside, it ricochets in! Didn't think it had a shot, but Makadika scores and we're level again. I initially thought there was a chance for a clearance along this near side until it fell to the feet of Makadika.
What a strike that is. Makadika putting it on his right foot, curling it back post. And you're right, just as it thought that the chance was over after the ball flared through after the slight deflection to push it away from Conde, the left winger in the right place at the right time and makes no mistake with the finish. A beautiful curled ball into the back post, and it just kisses off the woodwork and into the net. A second half explosion, and I feel like it's pretty similar to the national semifinal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely caught us off guard up here, but 2-2 we go, and I hope everybody's buckled up. We're going to have a really fun next 25 minutes and change.
Hampton's goal scored in the 63rd minute by number 15, Terry Makadika, assisted by number 9.
All taken away. Momentum for the Phantoms, and they're coming out in full force. All played back to LaShoy. So again, if you're just tuning in, it's been 3 second half goals that have this match tied at 2 apiece. Healy and Makadika for Seacoast United and Kulai for Peoria City. And so, if we're gonna find a winner in regulation, it'll take at least one more. Seacoast United will have it off the reset. Here's everything is okay, and we are ready to get back underway. Here's that Conde was a little caught up after that last run and attack from Seacoast United. Ball reversed to the near side. Harrison Bertos. Chipped ahead to Healy. He's been dangerous today. Whipped back inside, and had Reddy not been there, it could have been perhaps a third for United.
And Sammy Slimmy kind of looked a little bit out of place there. He was on his near post and had to run and hustle back into position in the center of the goal. But the header goes clear from Dickerson, and Peoria City evade the attacking opportunity. But you're right, Healy on that left wing, he's kind of transitioned into a little more out of that central midfield, trying to push down the flanks, and he has been very, very dangerous since finding that first goal. He's got involved in the setup of these attacks, and he has been clinical.
Gibson down and in some fine pain. So hopefully he's okay. He's a big member of that back line for Peoria City this year. Hasn't missed a start. He's one of the local kids from nearby Morton.
And we talked about it earlier with the absence of Abasa. This is a Peoria City team that is handicapped at the center back position, and if Wes Gibson has to be removed from this match, which he does appear okay and he's going to continue, but if he does end up having to be limited, then questions have to be asked of the substitutes, and do they have the depth to not only just fill that position, but to be able to fill it with enough skill to be able to still contain the Seacoast United attack.
Here's Healy, and he will punt it over to Sammy Slimmy. So here we go, Griffin. Final, call it roughly 20 minutes and change. Level in Peoria. One of these two teams will walk out of here with their first ever national championship and first priority in the U.S. Open Cup out of the USL 2. First bench move for Peoria City coming into the match. It's another one of the local kids from here in Peoria. Played his high school ball at Peoria Notre Dame. It's Miles Safanovong, as he will relieve Justin Wilson. And so that will most likely bump LaShoy up a little bit in the attack. Ball forward. Finds its way to Tommy Coughlin. Here's Gomez. Gomez trying to find an avenue. Out wide to LaShoy, and it's hunted out, taken away by United. Laid off to Healy. Persenico chips it into space to DJ Kulai. Kulai out wide to LaShoy. LaShoy service back inside. Have a quick fact I want to run by you here, Griffin. Our attendance number just came in, 3,102. The attendance tonight here at Shea Stadium. It's the second largest crowd in Shea Stadium history, behind only a 2009 Open Cup game between two MLS sides.
That is incredible. Do you know what the capacity is?
Online, I believe it's officially listed at 3,800. So 3,800, I think, is the official capacity. With the standing room, if you were to get everybody in here that you could, I'm sure that exceeds that by just a little bit.
Well, and that's got to include the grass. I mean, you look over at the lawn in between the pockets of seating, and the lawn is line to line with people sitting down on blankets enjoying the game.
Dickerson and Jan has it easily.
It's important to note for this Peoria City attack, you mentioned LaShoy potentially getting more involved. Luke Persenico's shifted back from the left to the right. Safanovong moving to the left wing. They've brought Persenico back onto the right wing where he started the match, where he could potentially work inside and use that left foot a little bit more.
A lot of forward momentum again for Seacoast United. They're looking for a third. Switching the play. Makadika, he scored earlier. Taken away, and here comes Persenico with a lot of open grass. Centrally running is Coughlin. Off to Saraiva.
And 5 minutes ago, that would have just been an all-out sprint fest for a breakaway, and you can see how much the pace of play has slowed here since the 2-2 equalizer.
Persenico trying to get on the receiving end from LaShoy, a little out in front.
I think Peoria realizing after that second goal that maybe they had gotten a little over aggressive, got beat behind, and now want to scale it back and make sure that they don't concede another.
71st minute here in the second half. Both these teams played well to this point. That's why we're tied up at 2 apiece. Makadika and Healy, Kulai and Wilson are the goal scorers for their sides. Takes a redirect. Gets in through Conde, and he knew he would have been offsides, and he breaks away on his run.
I feel like in that situation, though, you've got to run onto the ball and see if you can avoid the call of the assistant referee. The flag had not gone up. Now, time would have told if it would have laid on the play, but it didn't initially go up as soon as that ball was played through to Conde. But he kind of just gave up on it versus if he had run onto it, and yeah, it's offside, you get the free kick anyway, but you're essentially giving up possession by leaving
worth
the ball.
The risk, because worst thing, like you said, that happens. They halt the game. Slimmy going long towards Persenico. Taken in by Strine. Cooper Noon. Stadium has fallen eerily silent outside the few drums and trumpets in the 309 after that last equalizer by Makadika. Healy working against Reddy. It will belong to Seacoast United. And it appears we'll have another bench move. It'll be the high schooler, Caden Hudson, getting ready to check into the game for Joao Saraiva in the midfield. It's a big moment for this young man. He's only going to be a high school senior this upcoming fall, and he is playing in a USL 2 final in a tied contest late in the second half.
Well, and we talked during halftime about the kids from Clark having their shot against the big boys. How about a guy who's wearing 18, and I believe he's not even 18 yet himself, and an opportunity, as you mentioned, on a big stage for Hudson to come in and make an impact for this Peoria City team as a sub.
Plays at Peoria Notre Dame High School. He is looking to get some very valuable and rare experience for a man his age here in this USL 2 final. Ball taken out for just a minute. Safanavong thought he had it. Gomez getting in there. Gomez takes it away. Here comes Peoria City. Played ahead to Persenico. Persenico takes the redirect, and it generates a corner.
And I don't mind the shot there for Persenico, given his form, given his ability to find the back of the net on seemingly any time he can. But I will mention he had DJ Kulai and he had Savanavong running back post. And it was the substitute, Miles Savanavong, who seemed to have a lot of open space. If he had cut it back centrally, he might have been able to turn that maybe B+ attempt into an A.
Gomez will take it from the near corner. Towards that back post. A lot of room out there. And this will belong to Young. Peoria City, if this game goes to penalties or the extra session, will probably wonder what could have been on that moment.
And I assume, Cody, we're going to have a few more of those chances before we get to the end of this match, at least to the end of the 90. Perhaps for both teams. Seacoast less threatening as of now after Peoria City slowed down their defense, but both teams with the ability to strike at any time.
Somehow they get it out of a logjam to Kulai. Kulai trying to work one-on-one. Dives in, but well done along that back line into the midfield for Seacoast United. As that was a substitute, Sam White, doing well, and now a foul on LaShoy. Just about 15 minutes away from stoppage time here in regulation. We should remind those of you watching at home, should we go the distance of 90 minutes plus stoppage time and do not have a winner, we'll play an extra half an hour, 2 15-minute periods separated by a short break If we're still level after that, we go to perhaps some of the most exciting scenes in all of sports, penalty kicks.
Most exciting, the most nerve-wracking, the most fingernail biting, but certainly fun to watch.
Nikadika trying to get it lined in, and it will belong to Seacoast United for the throw-in. Going back post. Headed freely, chipped back, and Slimmy has it. Not a bad effort, though, from Marco Dos Santos, who tried to hop on the bicycle.
Yeah, certainly a creative effort from Dos Santos, who was able to chest the ball vertically up to an opportunity where he could fling his right foot into it. Just difficult to get much power on it from that position, and an easy save in the end for Slimmy, who didn't have to leave his feet.
Persenico gets it back and leads Gomez. Now Safanovong. Miles Safanovong chipped ahead. LaShoy will be there as it escorts out of play to Peoria City. And it appears they're signaling for Josh Reddy in the long throw. They're going to try and turn this into a set piece more or less.
It's only, I think, the second time we've seen a long throw opportunity, and Peoria City have looked for it all year long, but just not a whole lot of opportunities for Josh to bring out the big guns. Chance here.
Another one of Mike Pay's kids from Clark. Fired into the penalty area, didn't really find any space. Ready, service back in. Jan claims it right in front of the 18. On that far side, working against Safanovong, give and go. And that will be a foul on Seacoast United. And that's one of those 50-50s, right? You're trying to split the double team, but at the same time, it's always tough to get through without fouling in that instance. Caden Hudson. Hudson to Dickerson. One touch, another touch forward to Charlie Dickerson. Here's the team captain for Peoria City. Pivots low. Sizes it up for some service, and it generates a Peoria City corner, and he's trying to get the crowd back on their feet.
Yeah, that brings the crowd to their feet. You have a left back in Charlie Dickerson, who is able to just use every ounce of his brute strength to shield the ball away from the defender, work it back onto his right, work it, push it again to the end line for his left, and push it out onto the deflection for the corner kick.
Towards Reddy, and it was just off the mark, and it will belong to Peoria City, and I think Seacoast United was unaware that they probably would have had the ball after that last possession.
It was certainly tough to tell who it had gone out on, but certainly easier to take the safe route than just leave it in the hands of the referee.
Going short to LaShoy. LaShoy going well deep in the back post. Hudson. Nobody was there for the second header.
Well, and Caden Hudson's not the guy that's going to have the most power on that header, right? So he's not going for goal in that situation. He finds himself with some space on the back post. But I feel like in that situation, you've got to head that shorter, softer across the face of the goal. Try to find a striker like Kulai, but he just went a little too vertical with it, and it floated harmlessly out of play.
White lays it off. Chipped ahead, trying to find Conde, and tangled up just a little bit. Playing on, Gomez to Safanovong. Here's White. White to the near side, Nikadika, and that catches Persenico right under the chin. And now a lot of momentum coming here for Seacoast United. Dos Santos looking for Conde, and it was a little over him.
Yeah, that pass has to be picture perfect as it just kind of outswings there, but Conde chases it down.
Somehow that flutters back into play. DJ Kulai. Here Mike Pay hollering for Persenico and company to get out and go. That pass was a little underserved. want to remind you about what's at stake in this match. Again, both these teams vying for their first national championship as well as the first priority and essentially an auto berth for the U.S. Open Cup, something that these two teams desperately want to have. They've never been to this stage before. Dickerson. Gomez back out to Safanovong. Safanovong service inside to DJ Kulai, and Jan had it off the header of Kulai.
Seacoast United have to be a little bit more careful on that cross. Just too much room for the midfielder to whip in the service. And then DJ Kulai muscling off of Cooper Noon and just not able to direct that header to a post right down the middle for the keeper.
Tig Healy does really well to run onto this one and never really had a firm touch on it. And we will have a sub checking into the match for Seacoast United. Alfred Boffey will be the third man into the match for Seacoast United. Still only two bench moves so far for Peoria City.
Phantom substitution, 7, Alfred Boffey.
So we will wait to see who he is relieving, and it appears it will be number 9 at the top of the formation. So Conde's day is done. And it didn't look like he was too happy to come off, but making the team, obviously maybe seeing some tired legs out there. It's being well into the summer. Of course, the playoffs take a toll on everybody.
Yeah, his head was down there as he exited the pitch. You could tell he's wanted to take a little more advantage of the chances he's been given in this match, just unable to do so in this second half.
Harrison Bertos has had a really good last 15 minutes in there at back. He's cut out a few advancing passes, and that will be a foul as Coughlin goes down from White, and it'll be a free kick for Peoria City.
And it's just so sneaky from Tommy Coughlin. He's able to get there just a step first.
Oh, going quick. LaShoy back inside, and Kulai couldn't square it up. It would have been 3-2.
And just as we're talking about sneaky to draw the foul, they have a little more up their sleeve. They move the free kick quickly down the right wing. LaShoy and I believe that was Coughlin who took the free kick. They were both on the same wavelength. The ball just screams across the face of the 6, and I don't think Kulai was ready for it. He made that run, but the ball got to him so quickly he was unable to turn that boot over and push it down low into the ground. It goes off the thigh and skywards over the 309. What a chance.
Coughlin comes away with it. Now he's got some pep in his step.
I think this is about the time, Cody, where we see the game open up again after 10 minutes or so of the teams playing a little more conservatively.
Well, you knew both these teams weren't going to play low blocks late. They were going to try and go for the winners. Ball back to Jan. It's loose in his own end, and we will see what the call is there. It will be a Peoria City corner.
And I think the crowd helping out the referees a little bit in that case. They really challenged Tobiah Jan. It was a really tough one-hop pass that caught him right about knees height. He had to bring it down and kick it away. The goalkeeper's not used to making those sort of touches. It rolls over the end line, and a corner with what seems like a lot of momentum in the favor of Peoria.
Safanovong plays the short man, chipped back in, header low, and it was nearly there for Gibson.
Seemed to be just the perfect height. Gibson just couldn't get his head on it.
That one towards the top of the 18. Safanovong and ready.
And I know you said that neither team's going to play the low block late, but I think Seacoast are fine to let this slow down for a minute. Hardly any pressure on the ball at the midfield line, and they're forcing Peoria to come at them and just slow the game down after a couple of very, very dangerous chances from the home side.
Late goals have been a staple of this Peoria City postseason run. As ready, the long throw. Makadika slammed out for another Peoria City opportunity. Josh Reddy. Towards Dickerson, and Jan thought he had a chance just to go down and get it. And Reddy wins that header.
And he wins the foul as well. It'll be another free kick where someone like Jose Gomez can shoot one across right to left in the box. LaShoy running forward, but I don't think they're going to go quick again here. But it doesn't hurt to give him the option.
Tough to pull the rabbit out of the hat twice, and so LaShoy will be checked here. This is from a fair distance out, so you would hate to see Gomez go for goal here, but he does have a rocket off these free kicks. This is probably going as some sort of header opportunity for Peoria City. Instead, it's played short. Safanovong, he puts on a shot. It's swatted away by Jan. Chipped back in, back post, and Jan claims it. What a sequence for that young man.
And I didn't have time to mention it, but Safanovong was just lurking there unmarked about 35 yards from goal. Gomez instead opts to go short to him. It wasn't necessarily the most powerful strike from the substitute, but it certainly gave the keeper Tobias Jan a little bit of a challenge.
Oh, here's Persenico leaking out of the back. Falling to Peoria City. The pressure continues to be put on. Out wide to Hudson. He's just a high schooler, whips it in. And that will be a foul on Safanovong. And Shea Stadium and company are all too happy to take that one.
Yeah, that is certainly a foul that the visitors will take. It allows them to get possession, allows them to really slow down this attack, and we have another substitution coming for the Phantoms.
Bilal Hersey will come into the match. He's a forward from Siena College and Decatur, Georgia. And so perhaps with this move, looking to try and find that winner here late. At the very minimum, you're getting another forward on for extra time should you need it.
Yeah, and Marco Dos Santos has not been nearly as involved in the attack in the second half as he was the first. So I like this substitution. The leg's getting a little tired. You get Hersey in there on that right flank to deal with Dickerson, who has been strong, but even the captains, even the guys that seem like they have no end to their rampage, everybody's bound to get tired at some point.
Cooper Noon. You can feel it in the crowd, along the benches, up here in the press box. These two teams know that probably the next 5 minutes or so, if you count on the stoppage time, we'll probably be playing into that extra period.
Yeah, I feel like no one in the stands is anticipating extra time here. I feel like everyone is anticipating a winner from one of these two sides in the next 3 minutes plus stoppage time.
Oh, and they might have him caught out. Going in behind, it's the high schooler, Caden Hudson. Back out to Coughlin, laid off to Dickerson inside Hudson, and that was a little overextended for him. Dickerson has it back to Coughlin. Wes Gibson as we go 89th minute. LaShoy headed towards Persenico. It will be a goal kick.
That's a tough one for Persenico to direct on net. That's an excellent job from Harrison Burdos, who we haven't called much in this game, but he's done a very good job of closing down Persenico in the second half at the left back position, and he's able to just halt the momentum of the striker there and push that shot wide.
LaShoy hesitates for just a moment. Here to Safanovong. Trying to thread that needle to Persenico. Now a big chance breaking out. Here comes Seacoast United. Reddy gets a touch. Gibson cleans it up in what could have been a goal-scoring opportunity for United.
Well, Gibson's got to be so careful with the yellow card, but he times that challenge perfectly to slide and get that ball away.
Back to Persenico. Force-feeding him now. Persenico is fouled here in the 90th, and it's a yellow on Chase Strine. So he'll have an accessory to match that highlighted colored captain's band, and it belongs in the official's pocket. But this is one of the dangerous spots. Jose Gomez has made a real mark on Peoria City this season in striking from these free kicks, but they'll also have Persenico here.
I feel like it's got to be Persenico. It's just at that perfect angle for the left foot to just blaze across. You send in a couple of your runners, probably Dickerson and Cooleye, hook them around to the near post, and if you can get that touch on it, great. If not, it's going to challenge the keeper in swinging in toward the goal.
Been told there will be 4 minutes of stoppage time, which we will begin now. 5-man wall, if you count the man on the ground, for Seacoast United. It's Jose Gomez and Luke Persenico over the ball. Persenico, it's blocked away. Gomez puts on a shot, it's blocked. LaShoy chips it forward towards Jan Dickerson, cleans up the keeper. And now things getting a little feisty in the back end. I don't think there was much behind that. It's the 90th minute of the national championship. That's just your team captain looking to make a play.
Yeah, Dickerson's not looking at the keeper. I believe he's going to be assessed a yellow card. The head referee calling Dickerson back over. He's going to get assessed a yellow card, I believe, for the challenge, not the extracurriculars, because it looked like the ref was already going to his pocket. I don't know about a card there, just because he's going for the ball. He's not looking for contact. He's just being aggressive. But the captain will receive the yellow card, much to the chagrin of the home supporters. And a free kick for the Phantoms in their own box, as we're about a minute plus into stoppage time.
You're right, about 90 seconds gone here in the 4 minutes we were told would be added back on. Again, should we not have a winner, we will go to a extra half hour, 2 15-minute periods separated by a small break. It'll be no golden goal, so even if somebody scores, we will play out the remainder of that time, something Peoria City knows all too well in this postseason. Still no time for some heroics. Ready, leaves it on the doorstep. Here's United. Big chance for Seacoast. Hersey, goal kick.
And it was nearly disaster for Peoria. Miscommunication between Dickerson and Reddy on the left side. Neither of them wanting to be the one to clear the ball away, and the ball gets taken away and nearly a chance. But a beautiful job from the winger. It's Savanavong who comes in once again to make that stop, push the ball out of bounds, and get a goal kick for Peoria.
Header falls to Peoria City. For just a moment, LaShoy, and that's a foul on Coughlin. 2.5 gone of these 4 minutes. Makadika hunted out by Persenico, and it feels like Seacoast has got something left in the bag here in regulation.
It's getting very, very restless after a couple early chances at the stoppage time for Peoria. Now Seacoast looking for possession, and I think a few nervous folks around Shea Stadium right now for Peoria.
Makadika goes low on LaShoy, chipped back inside. Strine lets it go all the way to Varley. He'll chip it ahead, and Slimmy loses it. And it's cleared away by Coughlin and Persenico. Kulai coming in. And probably the right call by the official to let him play on there. Makadika, 3.5 gone of this 4 minutes. Late short, Healy. Safanafong up to Gomez. Jose Gomez couldn't get it to Kulai, but here's Caden Hudson. And that will belong to Seacoast United. 3:45 gone.
And running out of time here. And just as I say that, the final whistle.
Well, everybody, I hope you're ready to go for extra time. We'll play another half hour here in Peoria. Griffin, quick recap of regulation. It's exactly what we thought it'd be. 2 teams laying it all out there.
And it's fitting that the USL 2 Final would find its way into some extra play here. These 2 teams put it all out on the line. Peoria City and Seacoast United just finding every opportunity they can. So many missed chances. I feel like this could be 4-4, Cody. But two all square after 90, and we head to an extra period of extra time. Should be an entertaining one.
Again, just breaking it down again once more for those of you at home. We'll play an extra half an hour, 2 15-minute periods separated by a small break in the middle. There is no golden goal, so should somebody score, we will continue to play until we have hit the 30-minute timer, plus whatever extra time is needed after that. Now, should we go tied through that whole fades, Griffin, as we hinted earlier, we will hit penalty kicks.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you that Peoria City supporters certainly don't need a reminder of extra time rules as far as the golden goal and everything goes. It just brings me back to the Des Moines match just 2 weeks ago now. It feels like forever ago with this playoff run, but 2 weeks ago, Peoria City, Des Moines Menace, a goal 2 minutes into extra time for Peoria. The Menace respond and then find what looked to be a winner in the 122nd minute before Peoria found another equalizer to send it to penalties. Now, Seacoast, they might not necessarily have as much experience in these playoffs with extra time. In fact, it'll be their first match in extra time of the 2024 postseason, but that certainly doesn't mean they're not well equipped to handle it, and I'm expecting another really good 30 minutes here.
Griffin, just quickly, and you may have a pulse on it or an opinion on, but does playing some extra time games in the postseason give an edge to one team or another, or is it simply one team's more well-rested? And essentially, you're just playing another 30 minutes of regulation soccer.
I will say I don't think it's a good thing if you play multiple extra time games.
These fans have waited well into the night to find a winner. Their underdog Carp have found their way to the final, taking on a very good side from Seacoast United, who has given everybody in these stands something to chew on more or less with those 2 goals in the second half.
Yeah, certainly an entertaining performance. I got to tell you, I was looking at tickets just out of curiosity for this event prior to the match, Cody. $10 to get in and see this? That might be the best deal in Central Illinois right now. And the fans being treated to 30 extra minutes that are about to get underway with Seacoast, as you mentioned, attacking left to right just as they did in the first half.
Just about ready to go. Tate Healy in the center kickoff circle for Seacoast United. They will have the first possession here in extra time. Charlie Dickerson takes a quick glance back to the 309, hearing them to turn it up. It's now essentially a 5-man back line, turning LaShoy into Hudson into 2 wing backs to join the attack. That's something Mike Pace had in his back pocket most of this playoff. Ball chipped ahead. It will belong to Charlie Dickerson as it will go escorted out of play for Peoria City.
And that formation change is a smart one from the Carp, because you're looking for that winner, but I think the primary focus, number one, is not conceding here to this dangerous Seacoast team in the early moments. Seacoast will be pushing to try to win back some of that momentum early. They've done so well of that in both halves. Trying to find the early momentum, they'll look to do the exact same thing post 90, and Peoria shifting into more of a defensive formation to counteract that.
Perseneco goes down. Chase Strine has it for Seacoast United. Again, this first session will go to about 15 minutes or so before we have another quick break. And then we will play another 15 minutes after that. And Dickerson really gets tangled up. Safonavong, and it will belong to Seacoast United. So throw in here for Mitchell Varley, man out of Providence in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. That will once again stick with Seacoast United. Strine near side to Moon. You can feel the stadium kind of resetting. Dickerson gets it out wide to Gomez. Punted forward to Perseneco. He'll run onto it. Line to Hudson, trying to get it to Kulai. Interesting note on Perseneco, Griffin, is that he scored in every single postseason match this year for Peoria City. So far tonight, scoreless.
And he's finding himself on the opportunity of a scoring chance early. That's how Peoria is going to find their offense here in the first half of extra time. They're going to have to look on the transition as they have, and as they've succeeded, as there's a foul conceded to Seacoast. If they're able to work out of the midfield, push the ball deep for Perseneco, for Kulai to run onto it, I think that's where the best chances will come for the home side. For the visitors, on the other hand, they've just got to continue to push the ball down the middle. They're not putting a whole lot of bodies in the box. They're looking for those piercing runs to try to get in behind rather than just a long ball and a header.
Another thing to note, if can be no ties tonight, obviously, it being League Cup Final. So if we do go to penalty kicks, we could be here a week from today still taking penalty kicks. But to get to that point, these two teams will need to be tied at the end of extra time. And you can just tell certain positions on the field right now, Griffin, some heavy legs out there.
Definitely some heavy legs, and certainly a penalty shootout a possibility. A week-long penalty shootout? I mean, I love being here, Cody, but
we got stuff to do.
I've got to go back to school eventually. But with that being said, I think myself, you, and most every fan in here is enjoying every minute of this.
Ball in the midfield. White played it near side. Gomez got in there. That will belong to Seacoast United. Mitchell Varley was the unfortunate recipient of that incoming effort from Gomez. Throw into Healy. He has just been the marksman today, as that one catches Coughlin off his head and will stick with United. Again, we talked to Healy about what it would mean to win with this club, a club he's been with since he was 5 years old, and he just couldn't stop gushing about it when we were talking to him, and even off there, he's like, it would mean so much. It means that what we're doing in our area and our region is relevant. It means it's making an impact and growing the game, and so he's very much looking forward to a possibility of hosting a trophy when this is all said and done.
Well, and it would be such an incredible achievement for the Seacoast team if they are able to see this out. I mean, New Hampshire is.
Oh, this takes a poor redirect. Still on here, and it's in. Seacoast United take the lead in extra time. Bilal Hersey. So 3-2. The Phantoms claw all the way back and then some.
They find that opener they're looking for in extra time. They were trying to push the tempo, find the momentum, and they're just unable. Peoria just unable to contain it. It's the substitute, Hersey, who's just able to push that shot near post, challenge the reflexes of Sammy Slimmy, and it is a perfectly placed shot, just dinking off that near post, getting the slightest of touches. It couldn't have been put any farther away from the keeper on the near post, and it's 3-2 to the visitors. What a shot.
Danny Sergev into the match for Peoria City after that last goal from United. 3-2, the visitors looking to spoil another home crowd in this postseason. Chipped ahead to Gomez.
Phantom's goal scored in the 95th minute by number 19.
And it's interesting because we're so used to seeing Seacoast United lead. And this is their first lead of this game somehow. A season that they've led so often. They've been playing from behind for the majority of this match. They find the front, and now they have to lock down and conceal this Peoria attack.
Flicked forward, Dickerson, angry with himself not to get a redirect on that, but again, not golden goal, so we will still play the entirety of this half hour. About 9 minutes left in this first frame of 15. Peoria City scored twice in their lone extra time match in this postseason against the Menace. Ready, claims the second ball. Over the top, here's Caden Hudson. He goes down, officials say no call.
And that's a good no call from our head referee. It was a dangerous opportunity, and the sliding tackle has to be made, but the timing is just perfect on it. And there's no doubt about it. It was a clean tackle all the way.
So youngster Caden Hudson had an opportunity to put one on goal. Josh Reddy. And this will fall to Seacoast United. They try to get out.
And every moment that Seacoast continue to find the momentum here, continue to force Peoria to react to them instead of the other way around, will be a win for the Seacoast team. The Carp have to find a way to steal back the momentum, and quickly.
I think you'll see him kind of play out vanilla this last, call it, handful of minutes, depending on what amount the referee lets him go past his first frame of 15, and then kind of push forward for that goal in the second set of 15. If you get it here, it'd be great for Peoria City, but at the end of the day, you can't work and concede a second before going into that next set of 15. Doesn't change the mission much. You knew you needed to score one here anyway. Peoria City, their fans still cheering them on. Seacoast United, though, and the people back east, all too happy with the result right now. Bilal Hersey sends that on off a play from Dickerson. Coughlin taking the real estate that's there. And that will be a foul against Alfred Boffey, a man out of Ghana and Kentucky.
And Coughlin doing just such a good job of throwing his body into the play. He lost the ball, sprinted 20 yards down the field, and won it right back, winning a foul.
LaShoy takes a big drive forward, plays it ahead, Gomez, and it's escorted out for a Peoria City corner.
And that's a little bit more of what Peoria need to look for here. Just that 1-2 to bounce it back outside, try to find some space on the wing. They haven't been able to play that over the top ball as much as they'd like to here in extra time, but if they can work it centrally, push it outside, and get bodies in, they'll be set up nicely.
Liner off the front post. Still free, and Jan claims it. That took a header redirection right in front of goal, which is, I'm sure, a goaltender's worst nightmare. It's essentially you shoot straight up in the air, and you're essentially staring at the sky for 10 seconds waiting for it to come down.
Well, and it's challenging because you've got to time the jump perfectly, and you've got to deal with every single person on the field who just naturally converges in on it. Obviously, the keeper, the one player that's got their wingspan to help them out rather than just their head, but it doesn't make it, it still can be somewhat challenging.
Safanavong. Only 4 forward right now for Peoria City. So we get to about 5 minutes left in this first frame of 15. Take Healy up the front channel. Slimmy smashes it away. Hersey. Going back to Mitchell Varley. Dickerson. Company couldn't decide on who wanted it. Played ahead, and if Healy had scored from there, that would have been a heck of an effort, but I think he was just trying to push it further down the field.
It looked like he could have been going for goal. He needed a little bit more accuracy on it, but I guess that's easier said than done. But if that had found its way to the net, it really would have put a complete silence into this crowd.
11th minute here in the extra session. Gibson. Played into LaShoy. LaShoy with some inside movement. LaShoy still dancing free, and it's going to go to Seacoast. Best chance Peoria City's had in this extra time.
You can kind of tell LaShoy's just anticipating contact there, thinking more about the defenders around him than what to do with the ball, and just uneasy, not sure whether to pass or take it himself, and in the end pickpocketed before he could do anything with it.
Dickerson chipped backside. LaShoy, for the time being, has it for Peoria City. Here's Strine. Sammy Slemmy and company will try and go from the back now. Coughlin. Time getting slim here in the first 15. Dickerson playing it in behind to Danny Sergev. It's pushed out, and Josh Reddy will get a chance to whip it in the penalty area. It's been a fairly secure afternoon on these long throw-ins by the Seacoast United defense. They haven't let much go loose. With the 6'5" Danny Sergev in the contest, he will essentially try and block Tobias Jan. And just keeping the ball. You can hear Alex Ryan on this near side towards us, telling his team they just want to keep possession here. Ball out wide to LaShoy. 13th minute here of extra time. Oh, a chance to come out now for Seacoast United. Healy to the goal scorer, Bilal Hersey. Danny Sergev couldn't get it back. That'll be a yellow on Miles Safanovong.
That's just a clumsy challenge in the end from Safanovong, who comes in very, very late. And I believe he lost his footing, so it maybe wasn't entirely his fault. He tried to stop on a dime, lost his footing, and tumbled into, I believe that was Healy that got the brunt force of that. And the yellow card does come out with just 1 minute left here in the first half of extra time.
Seacoast United can taste it. They'll head into this next break in about a minute and just be all that much closer to hosting their club's first national championship. Long ball ahead. Alfred Boffey taken away by Reddy. And it will belong to Peoria City on the throw-in. Oh, big lead for it. It's 3-on-3. Jose Gomez. He lost a bit of his footing, and he can't believe it. Trying to get to that second set of 15, and a hard foul. Well, Griffin, if the first 15 minutes were any indication of what we're going to get in the second set, this is going to be a pretty good finish.
It's going to be a good one, but you can tell how tired everyone is out there. There's just so much fatigue. The challenges are getting rasher and sloppier, and the time down from the players involved is ever so increasing. And it's one of those things about extra time. There's a lot of people who say that they should abolish extra time, go straight to penalties, and the main argument for that is, of course, the injuries that result from these players going an extra 30 after already, for a lot of them, playing the full 90 minutes. And these players certainly feeling the effects of some extra time out there.
Yeah, there's only about a minute of extra time left in this session, and so two balls on the field. Overambitious ball corrallers along the far side. Here's Healy. Wow, Hersey. Could he get a second here? Laid off. Healy blocked away. And that will end the first 15 of this extra half an hour. Griffin, Peoria City now knows the job. They need 1 goal in 15 minutes or they're going home.
Yeah, and the job is certainly laid out for them. The job is one that is going to be difficult to accomplish with a good Seacoast team that, yes, Peoria managed 2 goals against them in this match, but perhaps 2 more goals than some people thought they were going to be able to score against a Seacoast team that does not concede very often. You have DJ Kulai out of the game. You have Justin Wilson out of the game. And the reinforcements, alongside Luke Persenico, are going to have to be the ones to catapult Peoria back into this if they are going to extend the match any further.
It'll be a 2-minute break here in between sessions. And so, again, the task is tall but not impossible. Peoria City, just like you said 2 weeks ago, against the menace of Des Moines with about, 30 seconds left or less. I guess it was referees' ambition and 30 Mississippi's more like. They found a way to score to tie the match to penalty kicks, and they're going to need something of that stature here in the next 15.
Yeah, the Des Moines match in full is a lot to unpack, Cody. But there's certainly going to need to be some sort of attacking opportunity for Peoria. They've gotten their chances at times in the first half of extra time, but it was somewhat clear who the better team in that first half of extra time was, and it was Seacoast United, who just looked a little stronger, a little more just comfortable on the ball, and they were forcing Peoria to adjust to their constant pressure, and the pressure caved at one point, and Hersey found the near post with the strike, and that's where we've gotten to 3-2. So Peoria have to respond, but it's going to be difficult unless we see a change of tempo in this match, Cody.
All right, these two teams switch sides of the field. Peoria City will now work left to right. Seacoast United will try and see out this next 15 minutes and host a national championship for the first time in their club's history. In their way, a feisty bunch of youngsters from NAIA schools, Division II, III, and small-time Division I. This is going to be fun. Danny Sergev will be the man in the center circle for Peoria City on this kickoff. The last 15 minutes. Again, we'll remind fans again, if we do have a third goal from Peoria City or these two teams score more than that and end up tied, we will go to penalty kicks. Much of this 3,000-person crowd has stuck around. They know that these cardiac carp can pull something special out. Meanwhile, Seacoast United, the veterans by the standing of these two teams, been at it for a while between the PDL and USL 2, and they know the job. They've been here before. They've already got 8 back. And here we go. Final 15 from the USL 2 Final.
And these first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half of extra time are going to be very telling. Seacoast with the opportunity to kind of sit back if they want to or push for another.
Persenico, oh, nearly kissed it off the post. That man has been held quiet much of this match, but nearly took the lid off this place.
And that was so close for Persenico. Millimeters wide. He tried to curl it into the far post from a tough angle. Obviously, he had to deal with the left back of Harrison Burdos to try to hook that around, and he very nearly did that. Peoria on the other side, well, Seacoast may be content to kind of just let time dwindle down. Peoria are going to have to get off to a hot start in the second half. They nearly got off to the perfect start in what, the first 20 seconds? It was so close.
2 subs coming into the match for Seacoast United. Teague Healy will check out along with Mika Dika, the goal scorer from earlier in regulation. It'll be Addie Hicks. Alessandro and Sosa will also come in.
And with those 2 substitutions, nearly the entirety of the Seacoast attack has been replaced. Healy and Mekadika, 2 of the 3 goal scorers. And even when they weren't scoring, they were finding ways to get involved and put on pressure. And now some substitutes in and more defensive substitutions for the Seacoast side to try to limit the production of Peoria here in 15.
United so good with the ball at their feet, getting out of traffic. Big push forward here, getting it out wide. Alfred Boffey tried to submarine on Reddy, goes down in his foul. Free kick taken short. Tough area to work with for United. They'll lay it back. Get past Safonavong. Now again out wide. Boffey! And there was just nobody on this near side.
And that cross almost works against Seacoast now because they had numbers to the right side, and now the cross almost gives Peoria a chance to work the other way.
Persenico does well to get out of traffic with Sergev. Sergev, not nearly the fleet-footed striker that DJ Kulai is, but he does bring that very tall stature and physical presence atop the formation. Wes Gibson. Gibson trying to chip it in behind. Here's LaShoy. LaShoy couldn't keep it in play.
Yeah, LaShoy let that ball take an extra bounce, and it came back to hurt him. He needed to take that on the half volley. It would have been a difficult cross, yes, but the extra bounce just let that ball just drift a little too far and over the end line before LaShoy could send in the service.
Tobias Jan. Spanavong wins the first, second won by Peoria City as well. LaShoy lofted ahead. And that was an opportunity had either Hudson or Sergev been about 4 feet either direction, and now Jan is down. I'm not sure if he got clipped. It looked like it was a fairly routine lay on the ball, but perhaps he got the wind knocked out of him from the action.
Yeah, a lot of accusing from the Seacoast side. Tough to tell from here, but I didn't see any contact. They were claiming that it was, I believe, Caden Hudson that they were claiming clipped him on the way by. But regardless, no card, no foul. They're just going to drop the ball and let it move on.
Seneca's going to try and fluster him here, and obviously smart move is to just pick it up, but we're about 5 minutes gone, only about 10 left. And we have an all-time ending here in extra time. Gibson up to Sergev. Jan can't pick this one up, lines it away.
And after the early chance from Persenico in the second half of extra time, we haven't seen much from this Peoria City team. They have just under 9.5 minutes now to get something going if they want to save their championship hopes, and they have to find a way to get something forward.
Seacoast United's done a really good job of packing it in, knowing that if they don't concede, they'll see themselves through. Gomez laid off for Gibson. Switching it back outside to Dickerson. Needs to get a service. Lined back inside. Sergev was there. Jan hauls it in.
And that's exactly what Peoria need to try to do. They pushed the ball to the left side. They overloaded the right and then brought the left back in Dickerson up into the wing position. He took a beautiful touchdown to his left foot that allowed for some quick service. But very, very solid anticipation from Jan to get there and collect it before a head could get to it for Peoria.
A throw-in coming from Bertos. And once again, go to Peoria City. I thought that initially came off of LaShoy. Come on, City chance, roaring to life once more. Near side, LaShoy. For Seneco. Safanovong. Chipped ahead. No offside flag, and that was too far out in front for Hudson.
Well, and you might wonder why Peoria aren't trying to be more direct to push the ball in the middle of the field, because Seacoast are so compact in the middle of the pitch. They're doing everything they can to spread them out, right? So you're pushing the ball to the very edges of the touch line with your wingers, and then you can play that ball essentially to guys like Hudson, to guys like Savanavong, and try to push for something.
And the offside flag is up on Bilal Hersey. So they're going to bring up, initially thought they were going to bring up Slimmy to take this and try his best to arc one over into the penalty area. 7 minutes left, plus a little bit of stoppage time on the end of it. Near side, Coughlin. Tommy to Persenico. Gets it back out wide to Dickerson, who was underserved. Now here comes United. Reddy gets in the way of it and saves what could have been a couple of minutes. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. While Hersey cuts it out. Trying to clear it up the near side and out of play to Peoria City. Slimmy, long and over the top to Danny. Danny Sergev. Still in play. Hudson tracks it down. And he will foul. Great effort by the high schooler, but at the end of the day, got to somehow do it without fouling. And that's Harrison Bertos down for Seacoast United. He has played very well today. Jan. And Coughlin, it'll stay with Peoria City. Coughlin, stage is getting set for some dramatic finish. Chipped ahead, Persenico out wide, LaShoy. And Gomez and him zigged and zagged. Five minutes left. Ready, taking the space, ready. Safanavong, curled back. Trying to find Sergev, just nothing there.
And there just needs to be better anticipation from that final man of the passing moves from Peoria. Sergeyev in that situation needs to just have a bit of a better anticipation, take that extra step to move goalwards when he knows that ball's coming in. But it's fascinating to see how compact this game is becoming. It's essentially for Seacoast just clear the ball and reset defensively. And for Peoria, there's just no space to work the ball goalwards. They have to find a way to get something over the top.
Curling up, no offsides. Caden Hudson. Hudson! Oh, that could have been their best look at it. The back line for Seacoast was hollering for the offside, but the high schooler tiptoed his line.
Yeah, Hudson just snuck in behind the right back. He'll be so disappointed with that effort. He's got to just power through the ball. He leaned back, his shoulders opened up, and as soon as that happens, you know the ball's going skyward. He just has to stay on top of it, drive it low. He's at close enough range where he can challenge the goalkeeper with pace. He just opened up his shoulders a little too much and blasted it high.
Quick throw in to Safanovong.
And you've got to wonder, Cody, will they get a better chance than that here in the last couple of minutes?
Well, they're going to put it on to the speedster. It's the high schooler, Caden Hudson. Gave it a good enough run for a Josh Reddy throw-in. 3 minutes in change left in Peoria. They'll let Josh Reddy take it. The crowd on their feet. Inside, Sergeyev, loose. Down go Peoria City players. Dickerson and Gomez both hit the deck. Slimmy back up the field to Charlie Dickerson. And offsides.
And back to the chance in the box there. There was certainly a shoulder tug in the 18, but in a situation like that, it has to be so obvious for there to be a penalty awarded. You're not going to get something with minimal contact in that situation. And I think Savanavong just went down maybe a little bit too easily to get the call from the referee.
2 minutes trickling away. The Carp running out of stream to work with. Meanwhile, Seacoast United and the Phantoms really seeing this out well. It's a team that has conceded few and far between this postseason. They trailed 2-1, called all the way back after extra time to take the 3-1 lead. They're trying to find the end of it. Sergeyev! And they will say play on as Sergeyev went down. Officials not buying it.
That one, I think they have a much better case. Sergeyev is in on goal. The tackle comes from behind, and there's so much contact there. And the head referee, he has to have so much guts to make that call, and just choosing to keep the whistle in his pocket this time around.
Lashoy redirects it out. It will belong to City. They're in the last 60 seconds. Fingernail biting finish coming up. Maybe 1-2 more good pushes left. Over the top. Still loose. Punted away. It'll belong to City. Safanovong, near side Lashoy. Peoria City's pushing everybody forward. Chipped ahead, redirected. Gomez gets there, taken away, and it's a foul on Gomez. Well done by Bertos.
Bertos completely closing off the man there, pumping himself up as well as his team. A yellow card's going to be shown. Just a completely individual effort by the left back to stifle any bit of attack here. We're into stoppage time, and you can only wonder how much time will be allowed.
2 minutes left. You can see Bertos try to shake the hand of Persenko saying good game. I'm not sure he tuned into the finish of the Menace game, but they are definitely on the precipice. Taken in by Seacoast. Hersey will just take it into the corner, smartly so. Half a minute gone. Seacoast United can taste it. 42 seconds gone of these 2 minutes. And they're saying they're going to put this time back on. Some stalling and gamesmanship from Seacoast United. Taken away by Reddy. Here comes Coughlin. Couldn't control it along the near side. Minute 11 gone.
Yeah, head in his hands for Coughlin there after the poor touch. It's fascinating to look at this midfield line or the defensive line rather for Seacoast as they just pile on 5 bodies. Even if Peoria can get the ball, there's still so much more pace to go.
And it will belong to City off Danny Sergev. Minute and a half gone. Josh Reddy. Do we have another photo finish? Safanovong. Out wide to Dickerson. Couldn't keep it in play. That might be it.
And you've got to assume there's probably going to be at least 20 or 25 seconds added on to the initial 2 minutes after the play in the corner.
We have officially ellipsed the 2 minutes that we were told will be put back on. So anything now is referee's discretion. Might have one more push forward. Slimmy over the top. Surge couldn't get it. Gibson. Gibson in close. A clearance here might do it. Taken away by Reddy. Still playing on. LaShoy. He's going to get a service in. Danny, it's loose. Gomez. Down he goes. Playing on. And that's the ball game. Seacoast United wins the 2024 USL 2 Final. The trophy will shift coasts. Griffin, as the home crowd takes the realization in that the year's over. What a match. Seacoast United, your 2024 champions.
What a match, Cody. 120 minutes of just pure cinema and just an absolute back and forth clash. Seacoast United have every reason to celebrate, and Peoria City on the other side, it'll just be devastation. I mean, they had so many chances to put the ball long there, but just unable to get a quality shot at goal. The best chance of the second half of extra time came 15 seconds in with Luke Persenico. And just unable to find the equalizer late. They wanted a free kick there at the death, but Gomez had lost his footing. He's never going to get that call. And Seacoast United survive, national champions of 2024.
It's the first ever national championship for Seacoast United. Congratulations to the Phantoms and head coach Alex Ryan, as they will, more often than not, be playing this upcoming spring in the U.S. Open Cup. We want to remind fans to stick around. We will have the trophy ceremony coming up shortly. Until then, Griffin and I will keep you busy as the Shea Stadium begins to filter out, and you can see a lot of the mixed emotions from both sides. Tears, frustration, joy, and jubilation all mixed in there.
And it's just it all comes flooding in because there's so much adrenaline and so much of your focus is on the task at hand. And the second that whistle goes, all the frustration comes out. LaShoy here on the near touchline, I think he's showing the most of it from anyone. I mean, you've got a guy who's so involved in the attack, so many quality balls, but he's so helpless. As soon as he delivers the ball into the box, it's all up to his teammates, and just disappointment from Peoria. But on the other side, absolute elation. The Gatorade being poured on head coach Alex Ryan, who in his 4th season at Seacoast United has conquered the ultimate mountain of USL League Two. And I know everyone watching in New Hampshire will be just as thrilled as the boys out on the pitch because they've deserved it after the regular season they had, after the playoff run they had of just pure dominance. This was the closest match by far that they were given by one of the opposing sides. Peoria fought them to 120 minutes, and for a team that hadn't won a playoff game in its franchise history before this season, Peoria have every reason to be proud and every reason to believe that in the future they can go that one step further.
At some point, the song runs out on Cinderella, and Peoria City, their magical run comes to a close, but the 2 seeds out of the heartland should not be hanging their heads in the slightest. It has been a fantastic run for them. They got to see great crowds at their games, heart-stopping moments, but at the end of the day, it's the experience, potency, and the tight areas for Seacoast United that saw them through.
Yeah, well, and it's the other thing to note is in a match like this, it always seems like there's either a moment of brilliance or a major mistake. And today was just filled with moments of brilliance. These two teams won the game. Well, obviously Seacoast won the match, but Peoria did not give them the win by any means. They fought every tooth and nail. Their goals were as well worked as the other side, and in the end, Seacoast just had that one little push to get him across. But just an absolute match for the ages between these two sides here in Peoria.
Again, the scoring rundown, the final 3-2 after extra time in Peoria. Peoria City will wonder what if after that Luke Persenico goal was just fractions of an inch outside the post that could have tied it in extra time, but it was an 18-minute goal by Justin Wilson and assisted by Luke Persenico, followed up by a handful of goals in the second half. DJ Kuline, the 57th minute, assisted by Saraiva. Tig Healy in the 49th for Seacoast United, followed by 2 goals in the 63rd and 95th by Makadika and Bilal Hersey. And as they get set up for the trophy ceremony, Griffin, it's been a pleasure calling these playoff games with you. I know you extended your stay in Central Illinois to join us today, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's been a great end to the summer. I mean, I found myself in the middle of Central Illinois for the first time, calling some baseball games over in the Bloomington Normal area, and I'm glad that this was something we could make happen. A nice little unexpected end to the summer as we wrap up things as August begins.
See Seacoast United, it has set in, champions of the USL 2. Congratulations again to Seacoast United, Peoria City, runners-up. They will have nothing to hang their heads on, but like every championship match, I'm sure everybody will go home tonight, replay this a million times for good or bad, and just ask themselves what they could have done different.
Yeah, and there's always the what-ifs, but it's important for Peoria to have this, at least from the losing side, have that ability of the ability to go and thank the supporters. And you look at a match like this, 3,000 strong. The community was behind this team, and yes, they came up a little bit short, but there's always that opportunity down the line to do it again. You look at the run this team has, and I'm sure a lot of the same players will be back in 2025, and a team of this much talent you can't keep away from the big stage for too long.
Great things brewing in Peoria, a team in just its 3rd year. Like you said, it never won a playoff match. Still hasn't won their own division. That'll be on the to-do list for next season, but I'm sure they wouldn't trade this run in for anything. But as we will now kind of take a stance off, as Seacoast United will be awarded their national championship trophy and medallions. Peoria City will receive the runners-up plate, and it is going to be quite the scene here, something that these people will remember forever.
Yeah, well, and for Seacoast, you can see the celebrations getting going. A few handshakes between the two sides. It's nothing but respect. These two teams not accustomed to playing each other. It's not a rivalry, but any game of this magnitude is bound to turn into one. But nothing but respect from these two sides after what was just a beautiful 120 minutes. Both teams putting it all out on the line, but only one team, Cody, could come out in front.
Absolutely. We will now step off for side for just a moment as the USL 2 and their VPs and SVPs begin to hand out the national championship trophy along with the medallions and the runners-up plate.
Introducing the 2024 USL League Two finalists, Peoria City. One more time for Peoria City. Congratulations to Peoria City on an incredible season in the USL League Two. Now introducing the 2024 USL League Two Final MVP, Tag Healy. And now introducing the 2024 USL League Two champions, Seacoast United Phantoms. Congratulations to Seacoast United Phantoms on winning the 2024 USL League Two Final.
And with that, fans, that will conclude our coverage of the USL 2 Final. For everybody at our Clutch Sports Media Production, Jonathan Michael, Joey Wright, Josh Mischinder, Griffin Leonard, everybody involved, we want to thank you for tuning in on Sports Engine Play as we get set to kick it off, and we'll see you here in 2025. Once again, your national champions, Seacoast United. They will wear the crown in 2024.